Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxx TV Podcast 538. Happy New Year.
You got some different specs going on there, Terror Bear.
Oh, yes.
Are those the Ray-Ban Meta glasses that take pictures and stuff?
Don't tell anybody in your gym locker room, but yes.
Oh, I literally just noticed it. And I was like, oh, look at that. You're kind of creepy now.
Yeah, I could take them off.
That's fine.
I've had them for a few weeks, and obviously still playing with all of the practicalities of them.
Mm-hmm.
I had them just a couple weeks ago when I was in Arizona.
Okay.
And I think about the times when you're filming, and sometimes you'll see me filming with my regular camcorder, then maybe just to get another aspect ratio, I will film vertical with a phone and get a similar shot. It's kind of cool that I could just either click the button or ahead of time tell my glasses to record, and it could either record or take a picture just by simply saying something to it. Obviously, I'm probably not talking while somebody's about to throw or to putt, so I may just be able to use one hand, hit a button, and then potentially either record or take a picture that way. So one of the things that I want to do sooner than later, and this is going to happen especially as I travel internationally, one of the things I'll do with them is to create an entire series or collage or montage, whatever you want to call it, of shots that are exclusively done with these glasses. And that'll give you guys some kind of idea as to the picture and video quality. It only shoots in vertical as of right now. Yeah. I think that's going to change at some point in the future.
Not if you lay down.
That's a good point.
You're thinking one-dimensionally, Terry.
It's true. But it does only shoot in vertical, and right now the maximum time for a single video that's not being streamed live is 3 minutes. Okay. And the pictures themselves, I think, are all done. It's all done on a 12 megapixel camera. So is it great? Is it professional quality? Absolutely not. Is it kind of cool and interesting? Yes. And since we're going to quickly, just real quick, because I know it's the first question I think everybody on the planet asks, how do you know when you're wearing them if somebody is recording or being creepy? First of all, you heard it ding. That's not necessarily There's a light that comes on right here. So if I say, hey, Meta, take a picture.
Oh, yeah, look at that little
light.
light.
That little light pop up. And if I say, hey, Meta, start recording, that light will continuously blink. And so the whole time you're recording. And yes, if you try to block that light or put a piece of tape over it, it won't record. So first question everyone's going to ask is, how creepy is that? You could go into some places you're not supposed to, or be recording a conversation among people that you're not supposed to, or that people don't realize they're being recorded. Besides just being a good human and telling people that you're recording or making it obvious, there should be this blinking light that's always happening if you're doing a recording.
Hey, Meta, is Terry Miller creepy now?
First, I can say I can either stop it by hitting the button, and then I could say, "Hey, Meta, what is Johnny V's PDGA rating?"
I don't know if it's going to know that.
Didn't find relevant results. Yep. If you ask certain questions, it certainly will obviously go out.
Yeah, it's got the AI. I'm sure it's going to get better as you go, and you can probably connect it up to Wi-Fi wherever you are if you want. And you're not on the Wi-Fi right now.
So anyway,
it's cool.
They're interesting. They've been fun. Quite honestly, it's this is already sidetracking so much. I
debated getting a pair. I just have no use for them.
It is really cool, and the number one place that I'm already excited about using them, Thailand, and that's because, as you guys know, I'm a scooter fiend. I've broken a phone or two. I've also taken
broken a limb.
Taken a GoPro to do a lot of the scooter travels now because I want eye protection anyway. I literally just hit the button and can record and or take a picture whenever I want. That was the main deciding factor in ultimately being able to utilize them. And I think and quite honestly, just the idea that I'm looking at something and I can say, hey, Meta, what is this, what is 5,000 baht in US dollars? And it'll immediately, so it's just like having Google or Siri, but it comes in through your on the side, through your drums or whatever, temples.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like bone conducting, kind of.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever it is.
All right.
Anyway, welcome in. That's Tech Talk.
That's the Tech Talk.
It's not all of the Tech Talk.
No.
Because Johnny V has disassembled my beautiful editing machine, and
it's what
he's
you said 6 years old.
About right.
About 6 years
old.
old.
He's graciously helped to replace the fan that has been making very loud, concerning noises.
I think when you powered it up, the fan worked, but the screen didn't yet. So after the show,
who needs that for editing?
We might need to readdress the laptop issue after the podcast. This isn't going to be a live diagnosis of your laptop, although that could be fun.
No, so we'll do. If I'm not going to lie, I feel completely naked without having a laptop being able to search and type in Google.
I'm glad you're not. So,
yes, so nonetheless, here it is. It's the first episode of 2025, and we start out with disappointment.
Disappointment.
The only disappointment that I have selfishly is in pushing from last night and Tuesday, which was New Year's Eve, to today. I fully anticipated more contract announcements and updates.
Sure.
And it was provided in the sense that we saw a few more official departures, but we didn't see that many more additions or new contracts. We saw a few extensions and things of that nature, but there was nothing groundbreaking in terms of additions, with the exception of the large. I don't want to say the largest, but the truly, I think one of the only additions that I saw today was Emily Weatherman to Team Innova.
That is true. Now, granted, and we'll get to Emily very quickly here. We didn't have a show last week because of Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. And just a few days prior to that, Anthony Barella did announce a re-upping with Discraft for 3 full years. So just to get that out of the way, because we hadn't addressed that. That's a big signing for Discraft, I think. He is, arguably one of the top 5 players in the world, and he re-upped with his manufacturer for 3 years. So that is, when you're talking about one of the top 5 players in the world, I think that's big news.
It is, and there's a little bit additional timing to that. I remember reaching out to him last week and talked to him about possibly being on the show, and this is related to Big Arm Challenge, and then obviously knowing there's contract conversation. And I think had the timing been different by a day or two, there would have been a chance to have a more detailed conversation with him. But when you're talking about Tuesdays, and then you're talking about New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, all that other stuff, and then being on our, for instance, coming on any show, when you're a day or two away potentially from releasing news, it feels kind of backwards. And so I appreciate Anthony in the response that he gave me at the time. It certainly makes a lot more sense with the path that he was on. So I can appreciate that.
So now we can talk real quick about Emily Weatherman. She was the Rookie of the Year last year, and arguably one of our best up-and-coming women with her skill set. And she's a great putter, a pretty decent thrower, clearly, and she's cashing pretty frequently. And she was picked up by Team Innova, which is, we'll get into a lot of the talk in a little bit about Innova, but maybe Innova's biggest signing so far. And they made an Innova, as they tend to do, make an announcement at the beginning of the year. This year, they almost always do it in the first of the year. They announce most of their players. Now, I think in the past, we've seen them hold out. I think when they re-signed Calvin, they held out just a little longer than after the first of the year. But I don't know if this is a sign that Innova is not getting any of the big names. Ezra, Isaac. Those are your 2 big names that are out on the market that we know of.
Potentially. That's a good point. And there is a question, and I had talked to a couple of different companies today. There is a strategy of a little bit of, I'm going to call it slow rolling. Yeah. Some of these companies are certainly not necessarily busting out on day one with these contract conversations, or what we would assume would be day one. And some of them are kind of teasing things out. And I know there's a couple of companies that have really big names, and I love the idea that they're going to give some of them some spacing and some room to breathe, to praise, to converse, and then maybe have another one. The problem is the longer you wait, the more
likely it's going to get spoiled.
Yes.
And we've talked about it here, and just like you said with that, but it makes sense that when a big player moves, there is 48 hours of hurrah. That is a huge opportunity to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say Isaac Robinson comes to SmashBoxx. We signed him.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense for us to have all of his discs ready to go.
Yeah.
So that when he signs with SmashBoxx, because that's what he's going to do, wink, wink, that we are ready to sell a bunch of his plastic, because his fans will be like, oh, great, now I can get, the Isaac Robinson microphone, or whatever he's selling.
Yeah.
That Simon, you can't steal that one. Sorry. I know you like to have all the audio and video stuff, or more of the video stuff. Kevin Jones, you can't steal that one. So, by the way, Kevin Jones re-signed with Innova as well. So,
oh yeah.
So it makes sense. The problem, as we've discussed, is that as you wait, you've got people in the manufacturers. You've got people who work in the printer. There's so many people now that find out, and they tell a friend, guess what? Don't tell anybody, but I'm printing up a bunch of Isaac Robinson SmashBoxx discs.
Mm-hmm.
And then that person tells a friend, and that person tells Reddit. So then all this stuff gets spoiled. So I understand trying to spread this stuff out. I truly do. It's tough. It makes you. Plus, a lot of these players, especially with prodigies we've seen, their contracts ended yesterday.
Yeah.
They legally couldn't sign anything probably until today. You might have verbal agreements, handshakes, but nothing goes on paper until today. So assume if you've got all your ducks in a row, you've agreed to sign with SmashBoxx, you're coming from Prodigy. As soon as that's done, maybe he already has a copy of the contract we're going to sign, and maybe not. Maybe he's got to sign it over, fax it back, have a lawyer look at it. There could be a day or two of why, in particular, the Robinson brothers take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But at least with Prodigy, and we know Innova's a little strange in that a lot of their deals aren't even on paper probably still. They're a lot still handshake deals. They're agreements. Innova's still kind of more of an old school company in that they are very much a take it or leave it kind of place. It's just how they've always been. And whether that's good or bad for the industry right now, we'll see if they sign anybody big. They might be being left behind.
Yeah, and
or maybe not.
We say this time and time again. We all have our fan favorites, or we have our favorites. The fans have their favorites. There's various components to being sponsored, and it has to make sense not only just for the player but also for the manufacturer, obviously, and that's usually the uproar, isn't it? Is, oh my God, I don't believe Company X let so and so go. I've said it all the time. There could be a major disconnect between what the company was offering and what the player wanted, and maybe the player wanted 10 times more than what the company's thought was their fair market value. But for whatever it's worth, it seems like it always falls on the company that then gets the short end of that stick.
Of course.
Or loses in the court of public opinion of, I don't believe they let them go. Well, did they ask for $2 million a year? Because they're, and it was non-negotiable? Well, clearly that might not be what the company was thinking. So, to reiterate your point, I think that we've learned throughout the years that Prodigy specifically has these very ironclad, fisted,
they're strict
contracts that go till the 31st.
Yep.
And with that, like you said, if somebody from Prodigy or an ex-Prodigy player or someone that's leaving there may have literally not signed something just yet. So here's some, I don't know if this is breaking news or if it's an exclusive or not. Tomorrow, January 2nd, we will, the rest of the world, we'll all know for sure where Ezra Robinson has signed a contract. With whomever that may be, it will be made public tomorrow.
So I'm reading from the board right now.
Uh-oh.
Ed Root says, I predict Ezra and Isaac both go to House of Discs. Now, that's a big... That's
you're casting a wide net there.
Yeah, that's like saying,
that's
I
really
think
hedging some bets.
That is hedging some
bets.
bets.
I'd like to bet with you on. Maybe.
I would take... Ed, I would take a bet against that.
You would? I'd take
I
a
would.
bet.
Ed says Ezra
favor?
to DD and Isaac to Lat.
Ooh.
All right. That's the only bet out here. That's
only bold.
That's the only bold prediction out there. Okay. And I will say the early rumors on Reddit were that Ezra was going to Discraft. That's what I heard. That's what
we're gonna see tomorrow, though.
I don't know, Terry. He didn't call me and tell me. Ezra.
I mean, his birthday's a day after mine.
Yeah, you literally don't have my digits. But if you did, right here, let me know.
He continues to troll, or to play the game. I call it trolling. Call it playing playfully. Going along with it.
I don't call it trolling only because trolling to me has like a negative connotation.
Yeah.
Like he's purposefully being or disrespectful or mean or cruel. Like that's
he's
not
playfully joining in on it.
Him and the whole crew are just always making jokes. There was a picture with a bunch of them and they had blurred out Isaac's hat. Ezra was on the top of a mountain wearing a Discmania sweatshirt and said, thanks Alden for letting me borrow this. Alden did re-sign with Discmania as well. He announced that yesterday. Even though I think he was on a 2-year agreement. I think he just literally was like, I think it was
a good move.
That's a good move. Just letting everybody know, hey, I'm still here. So I don't know if he re-signed or if he just still literally had one more year, but good for him either way. So I wouldn't be shocked if I didn't see any of these things come to fruition. That all these boys have been messing around with and playing. It just they're good at the game. They understand what drives people. It creates a constant stir online, which is only good for their brand. It makes total sense.
The fact that it's all in this playful nature is what's so fun about it, and like you said, they're all in on it. It's all good, and I guess we'll see. Eric says, "Isn't Discmania owned by House of Dis?" The answer is yes.
Yes, they are.
Discmania is in fact owned by House of Dis. So Ezra will be announcing tomorrow. So I don't know if the world knows that.
No, I don't believe so. We got some information before the show. About what? So tomorrow you're going to hear it, or maybe tonight at midnight. Who knows? Maybe.
Oh well, if we stick around long enough.
Well, we usually do. Depends. I mean, he is on the East Coast, so that's 11 o'clock our time.
Depends on if he had to travel to sign a contract on the West Coast, though.
Ezra, if you're out there and you're watching, reach out to me or Terry. We'd love to have you on tonight if you want to make a little early announcement, a pre-announcement.
Pre-announcement.
There's nobody watching. Don't worry. The audio podcast will come out tomorrow at 8:30, so that's when everyone will find out. Wink.
Eric also asked, does Hero have any sponsored players? If they do, they would be probably exclusively dog. I don't know if handlers is the correct term, but dogs. The dogs and their trainers / handlers.
Sure.
But I don't believe that they have any sponsored players. If they do, they're not of anyone on an international or superstar scale that are household names. Closest that might have been at one point maybe would have been like Amanabu way back in the day, but even he I don't think was at the time. So I don't believe that they do. In terms of disc golf, I think they absolutely sponsor dogs and their handlers or whatever, but not in terms of the disc golfers themselves. So anyway, you have that. Clearly other, like we said, there's a lot of news just with people kind of confirming that they were in fact renewed. No surprise by the likes of a Nate Sexton, a Juliana Corver, both out there, of course.
I will say Innova made, again, as we said, Innova made their announcement. I just pulled up their, you can find it out on their socials. It's a little surprising to me to still see JK on the star team. Only because, not due to her quality of play, because it clearly has not diminished much, she has openly stated that she's kind of done with touring. Now, whether she actually continues to tour, that's another statement. But that's what she said. I'm not going to do the DGBT much anymore.
Yeah, and
she's still traveling and playing.
It seems like an honorary nod to one of the greatest of all time. So for that reason, it's not totally surprising, but.
Oh no, and I'm with you. They have another team. They have an all-star team, what they call. You know, it's got I'm looking at it, which is like the likes of Alan Beaver, Annie Kreml, Barry Schultz. Like, to me, at this point, JK and Barry are starting to kind of get to that same spot where if she's not going to be on the DGBT and she's going to be playing regional or even not so regional because she tends to travel a ton.
Yeah, I was just going to.
So so she's not necessarily a regional pro, so to speak, but if you're not playing the pro tour, what are you? I don't know what you're considering.
Yeah, but at the same time, we both know she could change her mind
100%.
and then go cash at 3 pro tour events.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, well, that checks out.
Yes. Completely.
So I hear what you're saying.
But only because we're seeing some other big names, like Philo's another one that's still on the team, on the star team. And maybe he signed a longer term deal that we don't know about, which is why he's still on the star team. But he played like 4 total events last year.
Yeah. He
was on the commentary. He did commentary. So Sexton, who's not touring nearly as much. So there are just I think there are just some interesting things about Innova's team in general. They announced a big international team as well.
Yeah, and what I think you find there with the star team, and we'll talk about Coling in a second, but just the idea that we all know, this is no disrespect, as you just alluded to with Philo, unless there's a new commitment to playing in many more events, or maybe a more focused commitment to more international events. Selfishly, I always say, when we have Philo at the Samui Swine year after year, not only is he either winning or a top 2 contender in the entire field, he's the highest rated player that's going to be there in a couple of weeks as well, over Shasta Chris, who won last year, both of which are Masters age, but they're the 2 highest rated players that will be on the island that weekend. And then Philo has made all of these concerted efforts to be still an international force and ambassador in so many ways. You have to wonder, between the DGPT commentary and that international play, and then maybe a commitment to more Masters presence, which we all know isn't necessarily where the eyeballs are, but all of those things, and Philo being a long-term player with the star team. I mean, I remember a few years ago he was demoted from the star team, and he was understandably disappointed and frustrated with that. And I'm sure there was some conversation about what it would take to be back on the star team and the perks and the accolades that go along with being.
Because I believe if you're on the star team, you get a tour disc. That's one of the big. I'm sure you get some sort of financial stipend as well, but you get a tour series disc, and so that can equal, if you ask Nate Sexton, a lot of cash. And any of the players, like Evelina's Destroyer or whatever it is, that can. So just real quick, the star team for Innova: Bradley Williams, Calvin Heimberg, Evelina Salonen, Double G, Greg Barsby, Henna Blomroos, Jennifer Allen, Jessica Weiss, JK, as we said, Kat Murch, Nate Sexton, Owen Scoggins, and Philo Brathwaite. Those are that's your star team.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see the parity of women.
Yeah, there's
compared to men on that star team that are then regarded in such a rightfully so. I'm not trying to say like I'm shocked by it, but it is awesome to see the balance. Maybe that's the better word. Just the balance of men and women that are being recognized on that team.
Innova has the deepest FPL bench, period. With Henna, Evelina, and Owen, that's 3 of the top 5.
Yeah, I think you could turn then and make an argument when you're talking about Holland Hanley, Missy Gannon, Paige Pierce all on a team. Like, there's a good battle as well.
It's a good battle. I mean, if you're playing triples, trust me,
3-on-3 we need to see.
Oh, definitely. I want to see a triples, worst shot triples. I think would be a lot of fun. I feel like Innova has the edge there, just based on whatever. But you're right. Any given day, any of those 3 could beat the other 3. It's just the way it works.
Somebody is going to send you a nasty message.
That's fine.
From one of those 2 teams. They're going to be ready.
They're
ready.
Good.
I love it.
That's good. Now, 2 names that we don't see on this list: Jeremy Coling and Haley King, both of which I think have confirmed that they're not going to be sponsored by Innova this upcoming year.
Yeah, in fact, the way that I found it specifically, not so much as an omission from the release of Innova, but from Germ's post himself out there today saying that he is no longer going to be sponsored by Innova. He does not list or indicate where he's going for public knowledge. But next to Emily's was obviously positive and it's awesome addition. I think the biggest shock, and so let's just say she wasn't a shock. I think the biggest shock of the day today was in fact Jeremy Colling not with Innova. He has been, as he said, he has developed
8 years.
Yeah, the boss and the artwork and the Thunderbird, and not just because you're exclusively tied to a disc. Don't get me wrong, but he's actively been involved with those things, and he's done so much. We for those that don't know, Germ has been with Discraft. Germ has also been with Prodigy. He was one of the early Prodigy guys and was there. And to see him with Innova and being with his roots in North Carolina and everything else, I would have anticipated that we would have seen Germ ride into the sunset of playing in his whole career with Innova. It just seemed logical because he's been so tied to them so extensively.
When I read that announcement that he made, I initially thought, okay, you're leaving the Star team. And you are going, and this was initial, I thought, you're probably just going to find a spot somewhere else within Innova. They're going to make a different thing for you because of your experience, because of your commentary. Because to me, it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense in my head why he would be leaving. Because we know he's not at the top of his game anymore. He's not.
Yeah, which he admits.
Yeah, he said himself. Yeah. Like he looks
it's
at
getting tougher to win.
It is so tough because all these kids throw so far and they putt from such good distance. He is, I would say maybe around 30th ranked, maybe 30 to 40th ranked somewhere in our sport, just based on probably his finishes. Right?
I don't know. You can pull up the. I don't have my computer. Pull up the Disco Pro Tour standings.
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't. The Pro Tour standings are one thing. That's kind of. Whatever, they can be massaged a little bit, but I would guess that that's about his range right now, somewhere around there. And so I don't feel like he would be drawing a huge check from somebody else, like trying to steal him away at this point in his career. That's why I initially thought, like, all right, he's going to stay with Innova. He's kind of trolling us, and he's going to be doing something else. I don't think that's the case anymore, but I am going to be very interested, similar to Ken Climo leaving, that there has to be something that really draws you away from Innova in order to go somewhere else at this point. Again, because Climo's not selling the discs. He's not in the limelight anymore. Germ at least still has commentary. He still does the practice rounds with the Jomez crew and whatnot. So at least he has kind of a presence. I just don't know if that presence sells discs. But then I thought, Germ brings a lot of other things too, obviously, with the commentary. Graphic design. I could see his own Germ line with just his designs. I think that could be really interesting as well. And maybe that's one of those things. And I honestly, truly have no clue why he left. But I could see that being an incentive, like, oh, I could create a whole line of discs with my graphics. Yeah, but I also feel like
he's had opportunities to make as many graphics as he's wanted, and
maybe not with his own line of discs or something. No one would have ever,
I don't know, said, hey, no, we're not going to stamp that up for you.
And one of the big rumors is signing with the DGPT. I don't think that's the case. Based on what the DGPT has done over the last 6 months with the scaling back and the crew and whatnot, I don't think they're going. I'm almost positive they're not going full time as an employee for Germ to be a commentator.
No,
it just that's I would not bet on that.
Yeah, I would not either. Yeah, I mean, he just to be clear for everyone, in case you didn't know, I mean, he's very clear in saying. That being said, I have decided to take a leap of faith and say goodbye to Team Innova. I'm so lucky to have the support I've had from this community, and I'm very excited about the next phase. Is there any, and I'll say what I just said about Philo. Is there any, and someone like Nate Sexton, is there any push for a new guard in Masters, and Johnny and I are Masters age, so nobody has to take offense to this. Is there a push to make Masters more relevant? Because we know they're relevant. By the way, happy birthday to Steve Rico, who's
happy birthday, Stevie,
of Masters age, and has been for a couple of years. But is there a push, and to follow that up? And that's not to say we haven't had copious amounts of incredible Masters that have been the pioneers of our game, all that. You guys, I'm not trying to throw any shade anywhere. However, when we're seeing some of yesteryear's superstars and household names that were contending for wins regularly, and early touring players of a decade ago, of your Nate Sextons, of your Germs, to use a couple of good examples, is there and then the development of the Disc Golf Masters Tour in what we've seen take place with Cali, is there any chance that, hey, this is a way to help push Masters forward and bring a, I don't want to say just a bigger spotlight, but any spotlight onto them?
I don't think so.
As you yawn.
Yeah.
Is that all the answer I need?
That is kind of the answer you need, I guess. It was incidental, but I just don't think that there's not a big enough audience. We're seeing the Disc Golf Pro Tour struggle. So, and granted, we are, as we've been saying for 25 years, we're aging in our sport. Like, there are more of us now that are getting older. As the sport gets bigger, the Masters fields get bigger. And
deeper.
And deeper.
And that's kind of what I'm getting to, yeah.
And I get that, but even the Masters people just don't have an appetite to watch Masters. You can look, Terry, you cover more Masters maybe than almost anybody else, which isn't much.
Mm-hmm. And it's still not getting, like, now if somebody injected like a full good-looking tour where where there's a good storylines and all that, maybe it would bump it up 10%. Yeah, you're still getting a fraction of the
like I said, 10 to 15%. If you had a dedicated crew to do a full tour like they do with post-production, it would have to be post-production. I mean, live just isn't realistic. But if you did a full post-production tour, again, maybe you bump up 10% next year. I just don't see it being a moneymaker or financially feasible for anybody. Now, could some Masters players like a Schwebe and whoever, could they tour and probably make a decent living? No different probably than a bottom feeding pro. 100%.
Yeah,
I think you could.
Touring and playing is practical, but it's the viewership.
But
that's
you're
question.
Not. That's not going to turn the needle or push the needle or whatever you want to say for sales at all. Like if it's just not going to. Sorry, there's just not. It's not realistic.
Yeah, and Aaron is out there completely disagreeing with us, which is fine. Just saying that I'm a Masters age of 20 plus years and love watching other people I would compete against play. Of course, we're not saying there's zero.
Yeah, it's
there's
just
zero audience. We're just saying it is a fraction of a fraction, and that's been experienced by what we film and what we put out. I mean, go look at the week of the Masters World Championships and Ace Run Pro. Happy New Year to you guys as well. Out there on the board, who are contracted and have been contracted for the last couple of years to put together the footage at Masters Worlds under the PDGA channel and umbrella. And they put out great footage, as they do with everything, and the views just are a fraction of what you see when it comes to our MPO divisions, which is nothing for nothing, understandable.
Yeah.
There's not many sports.
You're literally comparing. You could compare what's the basketball, the Big Three basketball league, where you bring in like stars and older guys who have retired, versus the NBA. That's what it is. That is what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, even with nostalgia included ingrained, you're still only getting, like, we love the Masters as we've played with them, grew up with them, played against, got beat, all of that.
Drank with him.
You name it. All of that stuff has happened right here.
Yeah.
Countless times. I love watching Barry Schultz play. Whether he's
So
whooping
smooth.
us by 20 or he's still whooping us by 50.
I
It
beat him
doesn't
one
matter.
round once.
One round once.
So
yes.
there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's actually etched on the wall over here if you guys look.
Just don't turn that camera.
But the vast majority of people simply aren't consuming it. That's the point. So, all right. So Big Germ. Shoot, do we have an announcement? I don't know when we'll see an announcement, but we will.
Again, I'm just interested in what is offered. What's
the angle?
What's
That's
the
what you
angle?
want to know.
Yeah,
So
what's the angle? What's driving him to leave Innova, where arguably he was probably pretty happy?
Apparently not happy enough, or not offered enough.
No, I
or
agree.
Was just wooed away by.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if this offer didn't show up, it's not like he was it didn't feel like he was upset or leaving. At least I hadn't heard any murmurings of it. But if someone comes to you with, an offer you can't refuse, Godfather style,
nothing
then
for nothing. That's essentially what we heard of the Kenny offerings.
Yeah, that's why I paralleled it with
I'd like
Kenny.
to follow that all up with more Climo details to be announced. I know he said yet again yesterday, I think, on the socials, thanks to Innova for the years and the time, and I think he said that there will be more information coming soon. I'm going to say another week yet before we start to publish and talk about more details, probably at least a week, maybe even a little bit more than that. Obviously, there was the big conversation that took place a few weeks ago with regard to the Alta World article. Plenty of people that I have talked to have said there, and I know Staggered Stance and others have kind of mentioned this, there's certainly holes in or some inaccuracies. That's a better way to word it. Some inaccuracies that are out there. At some point, those will all come to light as to some specific details. Some specific details the world will never know. However, some of the details that were released within that article were not completely accurate. And that's about all that can be said. But we're going to see more of that, I think, unfold. I'm going to give it another 7 to 10 days is when I think we're going to see more of that stuff get kind of formally announced. Someone on the board mentioned Haley King. Haley being the other, we'll say, omission, or being another omission from the team roster that quite honestly felt surprising to me.
Me too, because everybody sees how Haley plays on the course. Sometimes she is the number one player out there, but it feels like sometimes she's disconnected. And I truly don't know what her passion is. If it's disc golf, that's great, and I hope she continues to pursue it because she has so many skills. But over the last 2 to 3 years, it really feels like she's kind of searching for herself. And maybe disc golf isn't the answer full time. I don't know. Maybe she got a better offer from somebody. And she just didn't, because we all know that the Innova thing was a 1-to-1 year. It was year after year after year. It would be reevaluated. Maybe Innova said no, thank you. Maybe she said no, thank you. There's nothing out there because she's a very secretive isn't the right word, but there's not a lot coming out of her camp.
Yeah, she's a little more private.
Private, yeah.
I would love for somebody on the board. I saw that it was announced. Somebody earlier today said that per Haley's mention that she talked about her future, and I don't see that on her Instagram.
I didn't see it on any of her.
So if somebody
socials,
knows something that they actually read by her posting, not necessarily hearsay, I'd be curious to know what it was said. Maybe it was up and it was gone, or somebody obviously is just searching in another place that saw it that I did not. But I did not see of anything of her posting. But either way, it certainly feels like a surprise because of her skill sets and talents. Same thing. We need to just figure out where was the motive, and if it was completely mutual, one way or another, I guess is what we'll find out. So, also from the, I'm just going off the top of my head. I wish I would actually write notes, but why get all fancy? Ellen Widboom is not planning on touring and playing nearly as much at a cross-country level. She says she's going to be playing regionally and playing in a few events, but is also going to pursue other parts and components of her life and career and whatnot. She is no longer sponsored by Innova. I think after it was also 7 or 8 years was the announcement, but she is not sponsored by Innova either moving forward in the 2025 season.
Well, we saw the same thing with Emily Beach. Emily Beach said the same thing.
Sorry, I did not see that.
Yeah, Emily Beach more or less made that exact same post saying, hey, I think she even said, not by my choice, but I'm no longer with Team Innova.
Okay.
And I'm dropping off the tour. I'm going to focus on being a regional player and finding the joy in disc golf again, because it is tough if you're not one of the top 7 women in the world. It's tough to make a living. And if you're scraping by, and she was Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, I believe. Mm-hmm. So Emily Beach is stepping away from the tour and no longer sponsored by Innova, and is going to become, as she said, a regional pro. Her words, a regional pro that will be just having fun again. And she talked a little bit about all the changes in her life over the last 2 years as well. And it's, I think. I don't want to say a reckoning, but disc golf is definitely in its awkward teen years, maybe, where people are starting to understand truly what it takes. We had this wonderful renaissance for 2 to 3 years of great paying disc golf, and it was a boom town, and now things have kind of contracted. And if you're not at the top of the game, I think it's going to get a lot harder to stay on tour. Things are getting more expensive in life, and the disc golf purses are not maintaining that inflation rate.
Well, I think they are. I think I'm not concerned that they're not maintaining it. I'm concerned that it's tougher to get up into the actual cash line.
Well, if everyone's dropping out, it's going to make it easier.
The money is still there. It's just a matter of going out and being able to actually earn it.
But I mean, last year we saw purses only increase like 1% to 2% in a lot of avenues. So I think that we're going to start seeing a plateau. That's because I think our purses also got too big too quick. That's another story. Argue. Yeah, I mean, too big, too quick is just saying like there was more money. People were, I don't necessarily think too big, too quick. I just think, hey, look, there's a bunch of money for touring, and now suddenly it's just plateaued. Yeah. I don't necessarily think it was too big, too quick.
What we also saw as an omission from the Star team, and a post that I am now just reading, actually, I knew it was coming, but Joel Freeman, no longer with Innova Star team. He says, to say the least, I'm immensely grateful for the support and the opportunities Innova has offered. They've been an absolute integral part of my success ever since the beginning. I want to thank them. This transition comes with mixed emotions, as I'm sure you can all imagine. I'm sad to leave and at the same time excited for what's ahead. So Joel Freeman, I was going to say you can't miss him on the course because he makes sure we see him, which I love. But Joel Freeman not sponsored,
and
feels surprising as well.
A little bit, and depending on who's standing in front of him, another person you probably could miss is Emerson Keith. Little stature guy. He left Team Innova as well, or was dropped, or however that goes. But those are two players that are. I mean, Emerson won on tour 2 years ago. Joel Freeman, did he win 2 years ago as well, or was that last year? Has he won
I keep thinking more so of the match play event. Just,
there's that.
That's the one that keeps jumping
But just these type of things, there's a good chance, and obviously we don't know Innova, but maybe they told these players, hey, look, we're scaling down the Star team. Were they given a choice to go to whatever the next team is, the champion team, and they declined, hoping to find a better offer somewhere, or was it just like, hey, no, we're scaling down? Because I look at Innova's team is deep.
Sure.
Like, they've got a lot of teams. So the fact that these players are not on any team when, you've got Holly Finley, who's on the second team, the champion team, I believe, with which is where Emily Weatherman signed. She's not on the star team.
Mm-hmm.
She's on the champion. I'm going to say champion team because I think that's what it is. But to say there was no room on these teams for some of these players, that to me is what boggles my mind. So whether it was just, hey, we're not interested, or whether it was, hey, here's your opportunity, take it or leave it, and they said, well, I'm going to try my hand somewhere else. I don't know. That's what's really interesting to me.
Also, I was just thinking of Emerson Keith, who had...
Did he have another kid?
No, not,
it's another year.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Not yet. I'll check in a few hours. No. Emerson Keith, who was with Team Lone Star prior to being with Team Innova, also leaving Team Lone Star, Robert Burridge, seeing that announcement also made recently as well. So, and he was with them for 2 years. I don't believe he's made an announcement as to if he's signed with someone else.
No, he has
but,
not.
Has made the announcement that he is going to be, that he has left Team Lone Star. Also, I think coming into my DMs just maybe last week was, and I know he's made an announcement since, Batman, who we announced here on the show. He joined us on the show to make his announcement last year that he was joining Team Lone Star. He went on, as his post said, which I don't have in front of me, but he went on to have literally his best season, I think, ever in this last year as a Masters age player, winning in both Open and Masters. So congratulations to him in terms of a great year. But as last I heard from him, he was going to be a free agent. So Dutch, Napier, Batman, not with Team Lone Star. So let's take all of that and a lot of conversation, largely surrounding departures. And I think I hinted or alluded to this a week or two ago, or a couple weeks ago. What we haven't seen or heard of is any departures from Discraft.
You're right. We have not.
Now, I know we're going to see some kind of additions at some point, probably.
Yep.
But we haven't seen departures. And the question is, what is that? What does that say, if anything?
We also haven't seen any departures from MVP.
We saw one today. Just one. Kim Gianola.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Had made a post that she is no longer with MVP, and I believe I saw another one. But yeah. Yes.
I was thinking, you're right. Kim did mention that. I was thinking more of the top teams, but
sure.
But
nonetheless.
And I'm wondering if that is a sign of the their disc sales percentage. Like Discraft and MVP are both relatively popular right now. I mean, if you look at one of the surveys, and the guys who did the disc golf survey for Ultra World reached out to me and asked if we wanted to have them on at some point, and I think we will. Maybe the next week or so. But the two top favorite discs from people right now are the Buzz and the Zone. So what does that say about Discraft's pocketbook, vault, whatever you want to call it these days, that maybe they can afford to keep on a larger team and not let people go? Because there are, and looking at that team, and I don't think he would take any offense to this, the only person I could see them really parting with would be Brody. And that's only because he has talked about not touring.
Sure.
Now, he can obviously make sales in a lot of other ways. So that's not to say that there's not a reason to keep him. But if you want to look at notoriety out on tour, he doesn't have it on tour right now. He has it in other ways. So if he signs or doesn't sign, like that's it is what it is. I wouldn't be shocked either way, but the rest of that team, I don't see him
going anywhere.
Nor do I.
And I think that is a good question, only in terms of his commitment to the tour, because I feel like the headlines that I see not day in and day out, but the headlines I see is, looking fully committed and ready to go to it may or may not be for me, and back and forth. I'm not sure where he stands today, whatever that might be, but. I don't foresee any kind of significant shakeup in that component.
We saw Ben Calloway did re-sign with Discraft.
Okay.
So he was one of those ones as well that was like, it's continues after 14 years. And it does feel like he's 14 years with Ben. It's kind of funny because I think a lot of the world really started to get to know him 4 or 5 years ago. But we've known about him in the Midwest here for a while. And to be with Discraft for 14 years, I think that says something.
Well, and nothing for nothing, that's also the power of the Pro Tour. You know, you and I, being Midwestern guys, knowing Ben's, 3 to 4 hours from us, and have seeing him and knowing of his regional prowess, but then to see what he can do when he did jump onto the tour, for all of us, was like, oh, yeah, sure, no surprise there. And like you said, in the last 5 years, everyone's now learned his name. He's elevated, everything about his brand, and has proven time and time again that he can be a contender on any given weekend. So, I'll agree with you, though. That sheer longevity speaks volumes, as we're seeing more and more players
hop around,
jump around. Yeah.
Jump up and get down.
Yeah, as the House of Pain would say. So,
Seth Fenley on the board actually said that Kim and Nova were both released from MVP.
Okay.
So those are two both women's Masters players of more than Masters age.
Okay.
I don't know the exact age, and I'm not going to be the one.
We don't need to guess. They're Masters eligible.
They're Masters eligible. Yeah.
That's all we need to. That's all we need to say.
I was interested in if you saw Nova's post. She is very outspoken on transgender issues. And I think she has felt, I will say, stifled by just being a sponsored player, not maybe wanting to take the spotlight for fear of what it might do to her sponsorship. But now that she is no longer sponsored, she kind of made it a point to say, hey, I got a lot to say, and now I'm not going to be afraid to say it. Which, I'm personally interested to hear what Nova says. I've had a lot of conversations with her, and she's very, very smart. And so I'm really curious to see what an unbridled Nova looks like.
Well, I'll follow that up and say it. I'm not speaking for trying to speak on anyone's behalf. Even with that explanation, she may have felt stifled. I'm not sure that stifling. My impression would be that the stifling wasn't overtly come from MVP,
not at all.
but just inherently she felt that
correct
way. And that's something on her own, which I can totally understand. We all know that anytime you have any kind of opinion really about any subject, even if you feel like your sponsor fully has your back and your support, you may not want to still say it for the simple fact that you're going to bring additional heat onto them, even if they do support you.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
So I just want to make that clarification that I don't think she probably felt like, oh, MVP doesn't think I should say or do this, but more so like, I'm just not going to for the sake of
that. And that's exactly kind of what I felt like as well.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say that had anything to do with MVP.
Sure.
At least not based on her post. So.
Ed out there saying Presnell back with Discraft again.
Yeah. He won a major.
Yeah, and not a surprise. So. Again, he's been with them for a few years now. That just all falls under this umbrella. I can't believe seen anyone leave Discraft, and like it or not, for anyone else out there, that has to speak volumes for what Discraft is offering, for how the players are feeling, and like you kind of alluded to, the state of where Discraft is at.
Right? I'm kind of surprised they kept him after the severe loss he took in November.
Yeah,
honestly, that
couldn't even win an election.
Prez for Prez did not pan out.
No,
I mean, I don't know if he got a single vote. So maybe one.
I bet you did.
I bet you did.
I bet you if you polled, if you could read every poll.
I bet you there were some people that were not happy.
They're all hooked up to the internet. It's really easy.
Yeah,
so if you could read every poll out there,
that was quite a severe beating he took.
Some disc golfers
November.
put in Andrew Presnell.
Well, I sure hope so. But no, that's that's good for him. Good for him. After winning a major this year, it would have felt weird to me to have him step away from it, unless he got a much better offer somewhere. That could always happen as well. So,
yeah. Couple more things coming in off the board. We can read them. Eric says Sexton had some interesting insights recently on an interview he did in regards on the tour and what he sees going on. Okay. Not sure what that is, but you could probably go find that out there.
Parker Welk leaving DGA.
Parker Welk leaving DGA. Parker Welk, let's check
Disc
the books.
Goat.
Parker Welk is working very hard on an announcement video. Per recent text message. I said, "Hey, what do you got for me?" If so,
it sounds like it's going to be something over the top, and I'm here.
Maybe
I'm here for it.
I don't set the bar too high. You don't know.
Well, no, if he says he's working very hard, and it comes out, and he's sitting on a bench, and he's talking with,
I was just gonna say, maybe
then your bar is set really low, Parker.
But maybe what he means by working very hard
is just he's like editing and
editing, or maybe like his camera's not working right, and he's just trying to get it figured out. Like, I don't know
Terry,
what that means.
you have set the bar high now by saying he's working very hard.
No.
We'll see. I know, but you set that bar, and I'm sorry.
We'll see. And I'm asking, I have officially asked on your behalf, SmashBoxx Smashies, when does he plan on dropping it? So that will be the question. So
Zach says Parker's good with videos and social media.
Of course.
I kind of put him not quite to the level of Silas Schultz, but he's definitely in that vein.
He's we'll see what he can. I think Silas has made some of his videos. You might be, maybe that's why.
It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. So we'll see what kind of announcement gets made there. But yes, Parker Welk. Was that when was that made news or made public?
Yesterday, I think. Okay. Maybe even earlier today. I think it was yesterday. I don't remember. It's on his Instagram. It might have been today.
That's why we couldn't have secrets during that commentary a few weeks ago.
Oh, secrets.
Secrets time. Isn't there secrets time? Anyway, well, we wish him the best and excited to find out the details there. I'll admit, I don't have my computer in front of me, and I did not dig around much on social media today, even though all of that still came up. Was there any other conversation of player talk?
Drew Gibson made some posts about how the disc golf world is going to be flipped upside down.
Soon?
I've heard a lot of rumors, and I've heard a lot of things. Nothing that I've heard would flip the disc golf world upside down. There might be some rattlings. Nothing that I've heard. And again, I'm sure I have not heard everything, but
To me, he said nobody will have expected this. Is apparently the tweet, the X's that are out there or whatever. Again, I'm old school. I have said now multiple times, the biggest, wildest upset that I would have never predicted in a million years was the departure of Ken Climo from Innova. Mm-hmm. There's some. Let me ask you this. Let's rephrase this. What would be more shocking to you in disc golf right now than that? What that was?
Paul McBeth leaving Discraft.
Oh.
Just because of the salary he's getting currently and the contract he's getting. If Paul said right now, hey, Discraft and I have decided to part ways, that would shock me more.
It'd be shocking.
It would be more shocking than Climo, only because I can think of things that Climo can do. We said on the show, there are draws. There are people our age that maybe, but if he's talked about his new exclusive discs. He made a post, or not, he didn't make a post. He was on a video with some people in Florida talking. He was even throwing them on camera. They were blanks. And he was like, oh, check this out. More to be announced in 2025. So the fact that somebody maybe takes a chance on Kenny and he leaves Innova is shocking, but Paul's getting probably everything and anything that he wants from Discraft. And on top of that, nobody else can touch that. We've seen the market change. So Paul leaving Discraft right now, to me, would be bigger than Kenny leaving Innova, but only because of his contract. and again, he's getting everything he wants. Kenny, who knows what he was getting from Innova? It could have been 10 cents a disc. It could have been $50,000 a year. I have no idea if there was anything. So that's to me why like that is shocking, more so in that somebody sees so much value in Kenny that they want him. So that's why that was more shocking.
Yeah,
so that's just my take. Almost anybody else is on the table as less shocking. That, to me, those are the only two. You go Kenny and then Paul.
We have an ex-local in the building who has chimed in. Kyle, good on you for making me chuckle about that. It's been years since I've even heard that name or thought about it, so I appreciate that. Eric says,
"You're not wrong."
Sexton leaving Innova. Okay, I agree. That obviously would be shocking and crazy.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. Let's step aside. Let's step aside from player change and just say generically within the sport. What else?
Like just anything?
Yeah, sure. Like
there's some things I think would be shocking. Like if a huge sponsor was announced, Nike, Pepsi, Coke.
Okay.
That would be that would be big. I think
stuff that fits Drew's narrative. If we're just going to
that would flip the disc golf world on its head. Yeah.
Stuff that would fit his that would flip it on its head, flip it upside down, whatever.
Flip disc golf world. I'm just right now thinking media. Disc golf was announced on a major cable channel. I wouldn't even say network channel because we're not getting there. That although a network channel, anything better than the CBS streaming or the ESPN3, TNT, Paramount Plus, anything like that. I think that would be huge. That would flip the world. I'm trying to think player stuff, man. If one of the major manufacturers were to shut down. If
a major
Innova, Discraft, any one of I would say the four major House of Disc ones.
Okay, I was gonna say like a West Side, for instance, not as
no. If you folded West
Latitude or DD or Discmania, for instance,
correct. If any of those three, anything other than lower than that is not nearly as thing. Those are kind of the things I can think of off the top of my head that would flip the disc golf world that no one would see coming. I think he knows. I think I know what he's talking about, but that's a whole different thing. I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of other things that could really flip disc golf world that Drew would be. Yeah,
flip it on its head.
If the pro tour
a negative connotation, right?
Yeah, if the pro tour folded. That would flip the disc golf world on its head because suddenly you'd have all these pros that have signed these contracts and have almost no sort of outlet for their popularity. Imagine suddenly what value I'm going to throw him out there, Calvin Heimberg have if he's not on live every 2 weeks. Like that would really kill the value of so many pros. And I'm not just picking on Calvin, but just that would kill the value of so many people. Suddenly you don't have all these eyeballs on you, and you have to wait for post-production again, and however that would work. So I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe, as someone says on the board, maybe Drew's just getting a new tattoo. Big Giannis on his back, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of maybe the whole Buffalo Bills team on his neck. I don't know. It's Drew. Who knows what that guy's gonna do?
That would be. I would like to see that the whole Buffalo.
I mean, he has a bunch of champions. Maybe Taylor Swift on his abs.
Oh, yeah, that I could get on board with.
Yeah.
If he did at least a 6-inch tattoo of Taylor Swift,
lower back. That's where I'd have to go.
On him, I think I would pay for that, and I'm guessing that would probably cost me a couple grand. But if he got at least a 6-inch tattoo, minimum of 6 inches of Taylor Swift, that's clearly undeniably 100% Taylor Swift. I feel like I would be willing to pay for that.
He has a bunch of sports athletes who are the greatest of all time on him. I think she's one of the greatest performers of all time, so why not? And there it is, Drew. Terry will pay for your Taylor Swift tattoo. Announced here.
It's going to be a wild 2025 if that's not obvious. Yes, Eric says Drew's having a baby. That's not flipping any, unless he's teasing this out to then, say, oh, I've had a kid, and that's flip. But that's been news for a while. I don't think there's anything.
He's having octuplets.
Yeah, well, I guess, but I still don't think that would alter the disc golf.
No.
All right, some people out on the board. I'm going to read a few more things from the board tonight because we're all off the rails here. Disc Golf Comedy says, DGPT folds. We get to go back to having our DG videos start with, hi, I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and this is my video blog.
I would hope so.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Avery Jenkins, sponsored by Campbell's Chunky Beef Stew. I don't think Avery would mind that. That sounds like a pretty good.
Avery's got 2 kids to feed. I don't care if they gave him if they paid him in Chunky Campbell soup. I think he'd be okay with that.
That seems like a no-brainer. I could get on board with that for sure. Someone calling for Drew to get some face tats. I get Buzz Swan. I do want to address this. I'm not. Genuinely throwing any shade they're just West Side.
They're just one of the they're one of the smallest of the of them. Them and like Castaplast, I think, are really kind of they just
they're clearly not one of the absolute pillars. And I think by their own admission they would say that. In other, I'm going to call this a tangent and tangential. What's the word?
You're going on a tangent.
Stick
with that.
There's got to be another word for it. Anyways, on a tangential. One of the posts that I saw in the last few days was Jeremy Rusko in Champions Landing. And it was a very lengthy post, and somehow you don't know, Jeremy Rusko was the founder and owner of Dynamic Discs. He also then, after we saw House of Disc get created, one of the things that Jeremy has since then done, as many of you have seen, is go out and has purchased the Emporia Country Club, rebranded it, no longer a country club. Protocol's not the word. Platform. It's a
more community center.
Community center.
Yeah.
And has added the coffee bar to it, has added fine dining, has added other hall and recreational space opportunities, and he had the pool for the first time up and operational at a significant level for the first time in many years, which was open to the community. All of these things to essentially get rid of the country club atmosphere out there at the Emporia Country Club, which has been just that for like 100 years.
Yeah.
He's done all of that. We also have shown renderings, I believe, on live and in other videos of him potentially getting a
hotel,
a grant to turn this into a massive recreational complex to the tune of dozens of millions of dollars. I do not believe that did not come to fruition. The grant had not, and Jeremy had made the decision that he's going to close Champions Landing, and after making a run over this last year at it of having it operational and do what they've been doing.
I did not know that.
Pouring a lot of money. Obviously, the branding in itself, changing from the Country Club to Champions Landing. He's done all of that, and as of the end of the year, closing its doors. They've employed a lot of people, brought in certain people, done all these things to close Champions Landing. But wait.
I was going to say, like, that changes so much, a lot of things in Emporia's future, but go ahead.
He then went back to the drawing board after telling, I think if I recall reading his blog post, after telling everyone, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shut the doors down. He said that didn't resonate with him. That didn't sit well. And he's gone back to the drawing board, and they are going to look at it again, and they're going to keep things moving. And and change up some stuff.
Okay.
And I guess I was foreshadowing already. The pool, for instance, I think he was very blunt in saying the pool had an operational cost of something like $25,000 for the year, and it generated less than $5,000.
Yeah.
So something like that.
There's probably insurance costs and people you've
upkeep, maintenance, probably just to get it even up and running.
Lifeguards, things like
everything else that goes along with it.
Yeah, kill the pool.
So, I'm sorry. I'm going to try and see if I can find it. Again, I don't have my computer.
Oh, you're on a tablet now.
Yeah, landing.
It's probably even an Android tablet.
Don't even. So those were some of the things that were talked about. Obviously, it felt like a big shock, and I want to see if I can read. I apologize. I want to see if I can read exactly how he kind of phrased it. I mean, he was very blunt about the struggles and the uphill battle that they've had. As it said,
so this doesn't
being a country club for 113 years,
and this doesn't have anything to do with the downturn of disc golf. This is just
yeah. So I'm going to read a few things. The most notable change is going to be in the golf course, as it doesn't make financial sense to continue to cater to a very small select demographic. The revenue from the golf course doesn't even cover the payroll to pay the staff for the upkeep of the golf course. Then once you factor in chemical costs, irrigation issues, equipment costs, and everything else, the reality is they can't keep the golf course running, especially when the city of Emporia has an 18-hole golf course, which is subsidized, a public 18-hole golf course already. So moving forward, our focus will shift to disc golf, a growing and vibrant community activity that brings more closely within our financial resources. More details: staffing adjustments, cashless operations, season passes will be discontinued. That's for the old one. The swimming pool closure, increased focus on events that they're going to have out there still, prioritizing weddings, private parties, live music, and community events. And for now, they're going to keep the Champs Coffee Shop open and hope that people continue to come out there and support the coffee shop and all the other things that they do have going. So it was a little bit of a wild ride to see this. You can only imagine, as anyone that's starting a business, when you have all these employees, when you live in the town, a relatively small town, where you've had so many successes and have generated millions of dollars of economic impact in hosting things like the Glass Blown Open and the Dynamic Disc Open for all these years, and then to have this new venture that he readily admitted was a very difficult uphill battle.
Seth Fenley on our board, who is now, I believe, an Emporia native, says that they also lost Tyson, which accounts for 10% of their economy in Emporia. So
Sheesh.
Tyson Foods, that's a big hit for a city that size. I mean, for any city, 10%, but that's a city that size. Obviously, it can resonate a lot more.
Yeah. So, thought I'd share all that. I haven't talked to Jeremy. I saw this post that he made a few days before New Year's. It was made, I think, on the 28th. And it was a little bit of a roller coaster to read all about it. But we wish him the best of luck. It's not a secret that the Champs Landing course isn't everyone's favorite. It does offer variety of something that we don't see at other courses. The amenities have continued to improve. There's a lot of amazing things about our tour being there and what can be done there. However, I think in the big picture, it is a very tall task to keep the interest level and to keep people coming out to some of these places, and especially in a community that's so steeply invested in disc golf.
Yeah, disc golf and dirt bike racing.
Yeah,
like those are two of the biggest draws every year. I have to wonder how, Jeremy clearly purchased this with intent to expand.
Yeah.
If that doesn't, as you said, come to fruition, is the financial incentive there? Like, can you make money?
Yeah,
I don't know if you don't have potential to expand and put a hotel and whatnot. You have to wonder, is it even worthwhile in the long run? And if so, what happens to Emporia Disc Golf?
Yeah, and what
as far as on the pro tour level?
Yeah, what other financial what's the word I'm looking for? How else can that be truly profitable?
Yeah.
You know, that land, what can be developed from it to make it fully desirable and then profitable with whatever it is. Like you said, disc golf, ball golf,
pickleball, whatever they're doing. Yeah.
Whatever it might be. I think that's, yeah. So I think,
that's right. But as Artie says, put a new disc golf factory in Emporia. It wouldn't be shocking with Seth being there to bring in manufacturing of, if you're going to expand in the U.S. for House of Discs, Emporia does make sense. The land is probably relatively cheap compared to a lot of places. There's probably a labor supply there you have, and it's already known for disc golf, blah, 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 blah. There's probably 6 other reasons that I can think of, but that would make a lot of sense. That's a huge endeavor, but I'm sure that House of Discs is thinking somewhat about expanding, or maybe they're not now that the sport has plateaued. There was a lot of talk as we were expanding how, the cost of shipping discs, it was so expensive, and we definitely need to get manufacturing here. And maybe that's not the case anymore. I don't know.
I don't know, but there's the update.
Okay.
And again, I'm not a paid spokesperson for them by any means, for Champs Landing, as much as I enjoy being there. And in that realm, I saw Jackie Morris make a post that the Glassblown Open registration, which we know is not on the tour this year, but they're still going to put on a massive event that opens in a few days. Maybe next Monday, Tuesday. Shows where how much I remember, but it's going to be opening sometime in the next week or so, in about a week. So if you're looking to get on board with that, you can go out and register for it on Disc Golf Scene. Holy cow.
I'm trying to think if we've missed anything. I'm
sure we have.
I'm sure we have. I think we got most of the departures down. As we know, there aren't a lot of signings. We do know that Ezra Robinson is going to announce tomorrow.
And also breaking news.
Okay, Tara.
Smash exclusive. Parker Welk says he hopes within 5. He hopes by the 5th or 6th he's going to have his announcement video as to what he's working on. So maybe the 5th or 6th. So I'm putting the pressure on you to turn that from a maybe into a definitely. Here's the news.
That's like 5 days. What else? You don't have a job. Get yourself in that editing chair, brother.
Here's the real question that I didn't get an answer to, and I didn't dig too deep, but I put a feeler out there. Who won at the Ricky Wysocki New Year's Eve poker party last night?
Who was all there? I'm guessing Ricky won. Because Ricky's a really good poker player.
He was a chip leader I saw by one of his posts. But we know that means nothing.
And to be fair, we didn't see a post that said I won after he was that chip leader, so maybe he didn't win. I don't know who was all there. Anthony Barella, Ricky.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know these people.
Ultimately, I know some locals that were there. I didn't get any more details. I just know that Rick was gracious in saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about having a New Year's Eve party that." Transitioned into being specifically geared toward a New Year's Eve poker party.
What was the buy-in?
I think $100.
Oh,
and you could have multiple buy-ins if I recall, but I think the buy-in was for $100 is what I saw. This was not actual gambling.
100 Monopoly dollars.
Yes, 100. Yes. Here's a
oh geez.
Here's a side note question. Maybe the board knows. Tell me if you know or not. Do you know the actual name of the Monopoly man, the guy that runs around with the top hat? Do you have any idea what his name is?
No. Do you?
I had to look it up the other night for a snarky email. I had to look it up for a snarky email I was sending, and that's what made me wonder if you happen, or if anyone, without Googling it, if anyone on the board knows.
Something Milton, because it's from Milton Bradley. I don't know.
Okay. We'll give the board a moment, but I'm curious if anyone knows. I feel like that's not a crazy trivia question.
I think it is. Not crazy,
Really?
but I think it's nobody.
No, I don't believe that at all. I guarantee you some smart person on our board knows.
We won't even be able to tell. Disc Golf Comedy says Milburn. He'd be the one to know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he would. Last name? I mean, come on. You can't. I'll give you guys a hint. Yes, Milburn is the first name. I don't think this is that crazy. Let's put it this way. Is this too easy or too tough to be a question on Jeopardy? Sorry, an answer.
I think that's a perfect question for Jeopardy because it's difficult.
I'm surprised you think. I'm not surprised you don't know.
You didn't know it either. That makes it difficult, Terry.
Moneybags, there's a good question. Herbert.
Yeah.
Juan Berenstein. No, so I had to look it up. I was sending a snarky email to my condo association.
Yeah, everyone calls him Mr. Monopoly. So,
rich uncle. The name is Milburn Pennybags.
Okay. I bet you that's somewhere on some old ass version of Monopoly. Like you draw a chance card and it's like
or a Trivial Pursuit. You mean?
No, I'm talking on the actual Monopoly.
Oh.
Like you draw a card at one point and it says like, Milburn Pennybags, collect $50 or something along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zach says I had no idea it was Milburn. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very difficult question.
For such an iconic.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows him, right? Like,
yes, but
maybe at a certain age you don't know him. Like, I wouldn't expect my daughters to know him, to like recognize him. My
really, if you showed them just the picture, you don't think they know where it came from?
Where is he from?
Yeah. Oh, you got to do that now, Terry.
Yeah, I'll have to.
My son knows, and he loves the game Monopoly.
Yeah,
and we won't play with him
I've never
anymore.
played Monopoly with my daughters.
I haven't played with my son in like 10 years either because he kicked my ass as a kid.
But he's at least played. My daughters have never played it.
Yeah. He was excited because he played Risk the other day. He's like, Dad, I played Risk. I'm like, great. That's all I did as a kid. He's like, I can play online.
I got me
like,
some rousing games of Mexican Train.
Oh, I have not played Dominoes in a while. We've been doing a lot of Catan. So
all right, with inflation, these nickel bags. There you go, rich uncle. All right, Milburn. So Milburn Pennybags. Someday here's what I should say: is someday that'll be a trivia question for our board, and the first person to answer it there may have to win something. So
that sounds like fun.
Why don't you log that? I haven't played with my son in 10 years. Monopoly is a terrible game. Well, it's anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I'll keep my commentary.
Yeah. And
it was one of my favorites. I will say this absolutely.
Monopoly?
There was only so many board games when we were kids that we actively often played.
Correct.
And that was certainly one of them. And we all know, depending what rules you went by, you could have a Monopoly game go for
days.
Exactly.
Yeah,
my cousins.
Monopoly and Risk would both go for days. You just keep the board where it is, and you try to you'd start on the kitchen table, but then you'd have to move it because
it's time to eat,
it's time to eat, or the breakfast the next morning. So you carefully try to move it somewhere else, and it was a hassle. Yeah, growing up. Ugh.
Finishing them certainly is the difficult part there, Zach. I agree. All right. Do you want? What do we want to do? You want to? We could shut it down. Maybe Disc Golf Comedy's around. Is it a new year? Do we dare have him join us for a few minutes?
He was banned until 2025. So.
Oh, okay.
It is now 2025.
Okay. Well, then maybe he should send me a message, and if it makes sense, maybe he could join us in the after show for a conversation if he's around. He or she or whomever represents Disc Golf Comedy, that is. But for now, why don't we call it a little bit of gossip? Well, mostly all truths. Or were they? Here tonight. Excited. I hope everyone had a good, safe, happy New Year, all that other good stuff. Go out. Here's a pro tip that I usually give a week or two ago, but go out and renew your PDGA membership, because what's going to happen is there's going to be an event that opens in terms of registration at, we'll say GBO, just to make it one up. And you're going to go to sign up, and you're going to be in a hurry to get it done. And then at that point, it's going to say, oh, this is a B tier or above or whatever. And you're not going to be current, and you're going to need to renew your membership. And then that may or may not get you locked out of that may or may not get you locked out of the registration process for an extra 5 minutes, which might get you locked out of the getting signed up for the event in time. So go out. Here's your friendly reminder. Go out and renew your PDGA membership today. And then for any tournaments that you sign up for, it'll already be taken care of. I know it's a little bit of a pain, and I know you just spent a whole bunch of money partying on New Year's, but go out and
my tip: sign up for 3 years.
Oh wow!
Just do it.
We're not all Milburn Pennybags here, like you.
Just saying.
I'm just
because then you don't have to think about it in the future. That's the nice part.
That's clever until you forget which year you. But they'll let you know.
They'll let me know.
That's a very brilliant idea. Before we get to the after show, the fans were clamoring. By the fans, I mean no one. Will we see you at the Memorial Championship in a couple weeks, competing?
You know,
is this because you're in off the wait list?
I am in off the wait list. I don't know if I'm in the process of making a video.
Parker will be in Arizona, so
I
will need his help.
I will release. The plan is, yes, to be there. I was looking at flights yesterday, so I will probably be going solo, so to speak, of flying out there, and then hopefully figuring something out with you as far as I don't know, car or hotel. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you're leaving a day or two early before I will.
Maybe.
So yeah. So I'm got to get that figured out. But yes, the plan is to go out there.
So if you want to see Johnny V in person, live on the course, and caddy for him.
Yeah, you can caddy for me. That'd be fine. You want to know some slightly too personal information? So
not.
I was literally looking up flights yesterday, and my wife was like, "Wait, when is that?" And I'm like, I think it's like the 19th of January, like that weekend or whatever. She's like, "Oh," and then I hear like click, 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 click. Like, oh. I'm like, what? She's like, I got a doctor's appointment that day. She's like, now I have to cancel it because it was like a 7:45 one. So she just counted on me getting the kids to school, and I was like, yes. And I felt truly guilty. She's like, because then she's like, I can't reschedule till like March. I'm like awkward. And I kind of sat there quietly, like, that sucks. I'm not going to the memorial though. So yeah.
Maybe talk to my good friend Uber and see if they can give a ride. Yeah, that would be one.
But no, that's the goal. I'm gonna be playing MA40.
Okay.
I'm gonna sneak up on Schlebach and push him in the fountain, and then maybe I'll get a couple strokes on him.
Well, yeah, that's
the way I'm gonna try.
That's one way to do it. We may have
lure him in there with a stake.
we have to have conversations about. I'll just say this here now. If you're interested, or your club or company, because we all know everyone just has money burning a hole in their pocket. But seriously, if you're interested at all in somehow supporting or sponsoring coverage that will come from the memorial, many of you know we try to take on a ton of coverage out there at that event. And if there's anything you can do to help support it, I am all ears and would love to work with you. So maybe your disc golf company, your dyeing company, well, not the company that's dying off, but your disc dyeing company, whatever it might be. Or maybe you sell insurance in certain states and you want to advertise that with me on the coverage. The memorial is one of the most exposed events that it gets put onto my channel year after year. So I'd love to talk to you guys.
And I'll take sponsorship for the event as well. I haven't announced my sponsor yet this year. So I'm just saying
you're fielding offers.
I'm still fielding offers.
Have you been? You haven't been declined by Discraft or DGA or
I've not been
Innova?
declined by any of them yet.
Yes.
So the opportunity is out there for anybody that wants to sponsor me. It's not going to get you anything. I'll mention you on this show.
Wow.
Yeah. All I ask is you to cover my entry fee, my flight, my hotel, and my rental car.
That's it.
That's it.
The meal you'll cover the meals.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, with that, we're going to close it out. What is this, 538's regular show? Is that what you said earlier? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's 538.
We're going to close it out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the after show. Somehow that'll be different from this one.
Way different.
We'll talk about things disc golf or non-disc golf related. And we'll see if Seth Fenley, maybe we see you out there, Chris Cobb, missed you at the Big Arm Challenge as well. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you after the break. New 7 said SmashBoxx.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxx TV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxx TV Podcast 538's
After Show. I'm even wearing the After Show shirt. I threw that on just before we went live.
Branding on another level, people. Welcome in, everyone. It's actually a Wednesday, which may have thrown a few people off, understandably. We are not switching specifically to Wednesdays, but with the way the weeks and the overall dates worked out, it made a little bit more sense for us to come in and talk to you guys here on Wednesday night as opposed to our typical Tuesday night. Next week, we should be back to form. And next week, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we'll have some of the people that are in the news we will definitely be having on the show then next week.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I said it in the regular show. We had a number of announcements that are, I don't want to say being delayed. They're just rolled out a little bit slower rather than being ready to go. What's crazy to me is to rewind, if we're going in a time capsule, to rewind 12 years ago to the day was the official announcement of Prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
How old does that make you feel?
It was how many years ago? 12? Actually, not that old.
Like right about midnight of that year is when we saw a site released, and it was a different world. It's been a different world as a result of it, and everything that it did. We didn't talk too much about Kale Leviska, however, him making an announcement that he has left Prodigy. He too will have an announcement in the next few days as to where Kale Leviska will be signing, and I'll give you a little hint.
I was going to take a guess before you hinted.
You can take a guess.
I was going to guess he's going to go back to Discraft. Maybe not on their top
That's
team.
bold.
But he was, he would be a phenomenal thrower of anything, but he really had the buzz and the meteor. Like those two discs he was so.
He threw the meteor, really?
Yeah, he did.
I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, he threw the meteor towards the end of his Discraft career.
Interesting.
Yeah, but a lot of the buzz.
Okay, well, regardless, we will see an announcement, I think, from him relatively soon as to a major disc manufacturer that he will be throwing. All right, well, Kale can throw those around. We like just to throw some shade, and I'm not sure if we've got the man to do it. Seems like he's ready.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta just make one. I want to make one adjustment. I'm gonna try to
blur him out entirely.
Try to blur him out entirely. I just want to square him up a little bit. All right.
All right. With that, our favorite friend from Disc Golf Comedy, none other than Tyler.
Hey, what's up, Terry and JVD?
Wait, are you from Disc Golf Comedy? Are you from Infinite?
Yes.
Are you from Tyler Brickley's?
Are you from the future?
Oh, are you from the future?
Yeah. Why do I look so pale? You guys,
I ask myself that question every day. Oh,
you guys are looking great, though. I haven't talked to you in so long. How are you?
It's been pretty good. Yeah.
How's your health?
I've got lots of it.
I got plenty of health over there. A little runny nose, but I'm doing okay.
Terry, you still sunburn? Jonathan,
no, it's just this is my natural glow. It's that always, it shifts back and forth between this natural redness and then a sunburned look, and they're really indiscernible.
Yeah.
I'd like you guys just to take a stab at this. At a function, an extended family function, and I'm not related by blood in any way to this person, but at an extended family function, an 18-year-old relative of mine.
Where is this going?
Was an 18-year-old male relative of mine was describing
getting worse.
Family to some of his friends, and he said, "Yeah, everyone in my family is white, except for my uncle." Meaning me. So my question to you guys is, what category is he maybe thinking I'm in?
Was he joking?
No.
Oh,
no.
like I thought he's like, yeah, everyone's white, but Terry, he's red.
Yeah.
No, you're
Maybe,
Well, listen, what a progressive little nephew that you have there.
Yeah.
You know, he's not just he's still labeling everybody else as white. So he still has some shades to learn there, but he's picked out one person to start with. And we all got to start somewhere. So that's cool.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm just, and my daughter was like, does he think maybe you have some
Polynesian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
maybe I could see like Hispanic, sort of Brazilian. You give sort of Brazilian vibes. I don't know if you think, JVD, what do you think?
Nah.
I feel like I could see. I've thought about Terry a lot when I see those guys, the Polynesian guys where they're wearing the, not much and they're doing the dance, and they're yelling and stuff. I think, man, I'd love to watch Terry Miller do that.
I would too, actually.
Yeah, I mean, when I dance, it's not with much on.
I can vouch for that.
So, all right. More importantly, since it's been so long, how are you doing?
You've gone through a journey.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm talking to my dad again. Thank you guys for asking me, by the way. That's that means a lot.
I told him to reach out.
Okay. We've been talking the whole time. Things are fine, but we're still talking.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, because I saw Home Alone at the very end where the guy reconnected with his family, and I just naturally reached out to your dad, and I was like, you should probably maybe go see Tyler. Yeah. So.
Lots of different. Well, one, I took a weird year and did a construction job, and now I'm back in disc golf. So.
What brought you back? Yeah.
Why did you leave and what brought you back?
I left for the money. And I came back because it turns out that money costs your soul in some cases.
Okay.
And, everybody has their price. And my price was not high enough for me not to be embarrassed about. But yeah, pretty quickly was,
and then you were like, damn it, it's not.
Yeah, dang. Shoot. Like if I could afford to eat at Five Guys on a regular basis without having to check my bank account, like that's kind of my price for my soul.
Jeez.
Yeah, so not that much. But
that's a lot.
I wasn't happy.
Like a Five Guys meal is like $27 these days or something dumb. It's crazy expensive.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's so good. That's another story for
another day. There's the physical toll, but the financial toll is even greater.
Yeah. So you, let's get everyone caught up to speed, even though we probably have a lot of dedicated Smashies, but in case they somehow don't know, recap your existence, your timeline.
So my dad and I, we stopped talking just for a little bit when he was on a trip, but then we kept.
Let's say the last 3 or 4 years. What's been your journey?
All right, real quick. Let's just fire through it. So, wanted to start making my own content. Made a couple funny disc golf videos that went crazy, hundreds of views, but it got me a call from DGA. And then I made content for them for 4.5 years. And then I made the mistake a long time ago of bringing a lot of other people into this world, and they are so expensive.
Well, and you've brought a few into, but you just collect them as well, right?
Yeah, JVD. Yeah, way to just completely condense the miracle that is adoption into human collection.
Terry was adopted.
Too, and I deal with this.
How dare you? I understand that it's the after show, but you got a pair on you, sir.
I'm just saying. I can say that because I'm sitting next to an adopted guy. So
hey, listen,
Terry, my sons collected me. How about that?
Yeah.
If there was any collection involved.
That's fun. Terry's mom didn't want him, so.
See?
JVD's like, well, it's not always beautiful.
I mean,
but that's great for you. Yeah, I got 4 kids. So anyway, just at some point, I was like, I just can't really be in disc golf anymore. So I had to leave for financial reasons. But then Molly graduated college. Let's hear it in the chat.
Yay,
W in the chat for
Molly.
Molly.
Yeah, Molly
So
making
she's
that money. So Tyler
got a
can have
job.
off again.
Sugar mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
She stopped
so-
going to all those house parties, and she's like, "I'm gonna be home, Tyler."
Yeah. Wait, is that?
That happens.
That's where she was.
Yeah, that's where
Was
she
she?
was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, keg stands aren't free.
No. Kappa
As
Alpha
fun as they
Kappa
are.
Phi Zeta Beta.
Oh, the money that I would pay to see my wife doing a keg stand. Oh man.
Check my OnlyFans.
I was just gonna say I'll send you some pics. Damn it.
I've actually got those videos. But anyway, we digress. So I was like, well, I don't have to make $1 million anymore. And if I, I'm doing a lot around the house and like with the kids and stuff since Molly's full time. And I'm like, so I can work just part time to kind of fill in the gap with our income. So what would I want to do? And I've had a good relationship with Infinite, even the whole time I was in disc golf. And we had talked about doing some stuff. So I reached out and they were like, yeah, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Here we are.
Those guys are pretty nice.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like they're probably hiding something.
Even if they're faking it, it's okay.
They're faking, like the more that nice somebody is, don't you feel like the worse they probably really are? And I went out there.
They've probably done one really bad thing.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I went to
it's probably
Utah
in
and the whole time I'm like looking at them. I'm just like waiting for the boot to drop,
Too good to
but
be
they
true.
just maintained it the whole time that they're all just like great.
Yeah. I mean,
And I
you
don't-
got to figure then you have to sign on with them just to find out what is the deep dark secret. You
Oh yeah.
Mole.
yeah.
Mole.
You have. To
Oh, I wanted to
continue.
leave like
Yeah.
week 3. You know what I mean? Because it's terrible to make disc golf videos, as you guys know.
Yeah.
But I have to stay until the secrets come out.
Exactly. That's
Well, yeah, that's when you cash in, is because then you've filmed
Blackmail.
some secret-
Wait.
yeah,
I can write a
viral
book.
videos. Yeah.
it's
Wow.
why I'm still
Right.
here. Thanks, Tara. He's got blackmail on me.
So, with all the conversation, and there's a lot of different ways to go about this question, but with the conversation about signings, people adding to teams, dropping from teams, fair to say you are not the team acquisition or deletion manager? Are you?
No, I am.
In any way, do you have?
Yeah.
What's your
That's what
role
I do.
within the team signings and or acquisitions or departures?
I am actually, I don't know if you can see this. I am the team acquisition and deletions manager for
Perfect.
Infinite Discs.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, I can speak to that with authority. I'm not at liberty to, but I can.
Okay. Do you?
How much do you?
No,
seriously-
I don't know. I mean, I know stuff, but
No,
like,
I'm not
it's
asking for the details. I'm actually asking,
Oh, okay.
like, what's your role within?
close. I almost gave you all of them. I'm so glad you interrupted me.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you know what? It's the after. Here we go. Here's who.
No one's
I gotta
watching,
read-
as Johnny
I had to
says.
read
That's
the
right.
list. All right, so person number 1, firing this guy. I am privy to, but blessedly, I have a very tight lane, and I have loved that
Mm-hmm.
because I've worked for a lot of smaller companies where you have more of a parking lot than a lane, and this is like, I have just like one thing that they want me to do. And yeah, it's been really nice.
So
What?
So spill the beans. Is Infinite
Oh, okay.
signing any big names in this offseason? Like long names. Like Emily Weatherman is already taken. That's a
Yeah.
long name.
Yeah, Cameron
Long
Messerschmidt.
names.
That's the longest name.
Like names that we're going to have trouble. We're going to have to tab down for their
Maybe.
Tour Series disc, like maybe a hyphen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If I was Cameron Messerschmidt, I would 100% do a hyphen.
Just
Cameron Mess.
Ah, we need to know
Sure,
his real
Schmidt.
name. If
Yeah.
It's like Bartholomew.
I don't know.
Have you guys seen that T-shirt that says "Plan ahead" and then
Wow.
there's the D underneath it?
No.
like how my son writes anything when he's forced to write these days.
All huge and then
it's just I don't think he ever accounts for all the letters he's writing. He's like, oh, I ran out of space. Like, yeah, dude, you can't just type and it automatically go to the next line, you dumbass.
Okay, so wait, you think your son's a dumbass and you haven't played with him in 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you didn't.
there's a correlation there.
You didn't hear the story. Did you hear the story 2 weeks ago that he ran my car into a post? So there you go.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's 15,
no.
15 and a half. The first time he drove on the road, he took a left turn a little too wide, and there's a 3-foot wooden post that he just decided
Dumbass.
to square up with my car.
I'm not going to
It
talk
didn't
to
do
him
much.
for the next 10 years just because of
I
that.
mean, yeah. I mean, it didn't really do much damage, but it's still.
Okay, so
Answer
I would think you have when talking with the people who are saying, "Hey, what about so and so player and this and that?" You in the back of your head or in the front of your head have to be thinking. I don't know where you do the thinking. You have to be thinking, I don't know if making content with that person and promoting or advertising them may or may not be more or less difficult, right? Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
you have to be thinking about that.
I've opined, on several cases, like, ooh, that would be sick to have so and so, or like in the case of Drew Gibson, I've been our most vocal. Like, please, can we just get rid of nobody? Like, I'm gonna say in the chat right now, you're about to get a bunch of like Drew who, know, nobody knows. Finish line, like.
I mean,
Rose far. Although I'm sorry, Terry, because I know we're trying to have a linear conversation.
no.
It doesn't matter.
Did
what
you
this
guys
is.
watch? I don't watch disc golf content anymore because I
Oh God.
make
no.
it's so hard, right? Because you watch other things. But I watched Drew and Simon's disc golf battle. Did you guys watch that?
No.
I laughed my ass off. I have not watched a more entertaining disc golf video in years. And some people know what I'm talking about. The scene where Simon is trying to kick the ball up the hill and it just keeps coming back down to him. Like, it almost feels staged because of just how unlucky, and like you couldn't have sat down and scripted Simon kicks the ball and then it goes to here and then he tries to tap it in, but it still rolls all the way back down. Like, it was beautiful and
All
so
right.
good.
I'm gonna have to go out and watch that one.
So for that reason alone, I think we're going to keep Drew.
Okay.
That's a good plan.
It was really close.
He's got a lot of name recognition, so. I mean,
All right.
Drew
So now back to
Barrymore.
the
Drew Bledsoe.
thread.
Drew Bledsoe. Yeah, Drew's a pretty popular name. Actually, I don't. Probably not.
What was Drew's name that played in Michigan? The Masters age guy that always played well at Crack Plastic.
Oh, Drew Jenkins,
No.
No,
Drew Johnson, Drew Jefferson,
it'll drive Terry.
Drew
bonkers.
Jackson.
He'll think about it later.
He's really good.
All right.
Like, if you wanted to win, you had to get past. He was one of the guys.
I don't
like
know.
LLKZ.
I wasn't thinking about winning, so
Clearly.
I never look at the top guy and go, "Ooh, if I can just beat that guy." I usually look at the bottom cash guys and go, "Ooh, if I can beat one of those guys, I might have a chance to
If one of those
cash."
guys shows up with the flu, I got a chance.
I played another. Don't cheat. I played a PDGA event. My second. Thank you.
Ever?
Yeah, my second ever.
Wow.
Would you guys please guess my rating for me?
Your rating.
What course did you play?
Prairie Pass
Or something?
in Kansas City. Mm-hmm.
Your rating. Oof. I'm gonna go with
For one, was it one round or two?
One round. The first tournament was 2. That was grueling.
That's grueling.
Yeah.
But it was like 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
So you
I was
recovered
younger.
finally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Time to
I
renegotiate
recovered.
that contract.
I'm ready to try another event.
That's right. 2-3 years
Mr.
of therapy,
Burns.
and I can go back out on the course.
913 Joe 878. I can only assume they think there's an inverse relationship to like what a nice person I seem to how good I am at disc
I was
golf.
gonna guess 912.
Oh, that's funny. I was going to
Yeah,
guess
that's fair.
906.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody look it up for him and drop it in the chat because you're gonna have
Oh.
your faces are gonna be blown right out the back of your
Okay,
socks.
let me get.
It's
with that
gonna,
being said,
it's gonna be like a
9
one. It's gonna be like a 991
No, it
or
won't be
something
that
because
high.
it's
it'll
one.
It'll be a 982.
That's a real good guess, Ter.
Yeah.
It's 971.
971.
I was
Yeah, that's
950. I was 950 something originally, and then I didn't want to play another event because I didn't want to ruin my fake number. I wanted to, I wanted to sit on that.
Let's get Jackie Chen this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then boom, what do you know? I won.
You got better.
Listen, I won MA. I won
MA2?
advanced. No,
Advanced.
MA won.
Okay.
I won. It was uncontested, but still. And now I'm going to move up to MPO.
Good.
I'm not going to
I
play
had an
another one.
uncontested MPO win this year, so
So you
Who's
get
that?
how crappy that feels.
but I mean, I had to play 2 rounds, and I think they averaged.
You played 2
yeah,
rounds.
2 rounds in a day.
Uncontested.
What were the last 5 holes like of your second round? Like, was there some chafing? You can be honest.
No, I didn't in Guatemala. I was good, even though I did look today. I'm
You
kind of
looked?
proud of this.
I was checking out my own stats today because I had nothing better to do.
I was specifically asking about chafing. I was wondering about your thighs.
No, my thighs were good at that
Oh,
event.
they were good. Okay.
But I played in 5 total PDJ sanctioned related events this year
Show off.
Mhm.
in 4 different countries. That's the cool part.
Wow.
Yeah. One of
Okay.
those being Guatemala.
Hmm.
So there's that.
5 and 4. So you played 2 and 1 in the same country?
Yeah, I played 2
Which-
in the
so-
US.
Okay, so that's your favorite country.
Not really.
Just statistically, just if we're going by the numbers.
yeah. No.
All right.
Okay, so you had that. Yeah, so we should be talking about basically your sponsorship. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, you get
Yeah.
a salary. You have a salaried sponsorship with Infinite.
Right. Well, yeah, I make content, but I think the content I make is going to shift a lot from just talking about their discs to talking about myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what's
with a
going to move
rating
the
like
needle.
that,
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm an up and comer. Look, I've played 2 events. I've jumped 20 points in my rating.
Yep.
You too can jump 20 points every 2 events if you follow this, this standard.
I should make a tutorial.
Yes.
I was just gonna say you're
'Cause
gonna
it's gotta
take
be
out
like-
the Avery. Yeah, who needs Avery's deep in the game when
Yeah.
we could get Tyler's 20-point bump?
the 20-point bump.
Deeper, just deeper and deeper in the game.
Uh-huh.
It's not really. It's just just into the game, like just the tip.
Just the tip.
That's
yeah, I knew
that's
that
the title.
I knew that was coming.
Mm,
Okay, so
I don't have a drink. I feel left out.
Quick, move on.
describe. So you're making content for Infinite.
Mhm.
What is that?
Mhm.
What should that entail in terms of? Is that Infinite specific discs? Is that Infinite as a major seller and retailer? Is that Infinite's players? Like, where is there any? I know you're in this parking space, so to speak, but what are some of the things that are inside your car of this parking space are supposed to be?
Wow. Yeah, no, great question. I was thinking it was really a lot more of like Infinite. I went pretty hard on like bagging all Infinite and learning all the discs and making every single thing about the Infinite line. And there's been 2 times that I've had correction over the 6-month. One was like, hey, like that's really cool. Like if you actually are loving all the Infinite stuff, but make videos about literally whatever disc that you want. Like we sell everything and we love selling Infinite discs too, but you don't have to throw Infinite and, promote those just because you think that we only want to sell those. Like do what you want basically. And then other, yeah, super cool. So I got honestly, I don't know too many other discs other than DGA, and I cannot get the Rift out of my bag, like that buzz.
Yeah.
Like a 1 year buzz, a buzz you've thrown a lot for about a year. That's the Rift off the shelf. And it's just like, oh, it's so nice.
Not a paid ad.
A paid ad. I can't get that out of there, so I don't really.
From DGA for that one.
Man, right?
Scott's like, God damn, I gotta send him another check.
Oh, geez, that's a great idea. No, but anyway, the other time when I was talking about doing other things like marketing, background, branding, graphic design, like I've done a little bit of all of it. So a couple other areas where I'm like, what if we did this and that and other things, and can I help here and there and anywhere else? And them just being like, oh, I mean, sure, yeah, like if you want to help with those, great, but really, like all we really need, are these videos. And so it was kind of a no, literally, but it was like a kindness, but really it was like so freeing for me. Like they have a whole team, and I haven't super done that before. Even before DGA, 3 or 4 companies before that, I was kind of the whole entire
media department
team. Yeah. So that's mainly what it entails, is just purely making ads for Infinite Discs and then Discount Disc Golf, which is sort of the outlet store for Infinite Discs.
And are those ads we're going to see on the DGPT, or are those just ads you're putting out?
Great question. Yeah. I certainly hope so. We did not. I came in the summer, and we at that time did not have an unofficial relationship with the Pro Tour. So that'll be something that we are going to talk about moving forward.
Okay.
I would love that.
I just remember, like back in the day when I was doing the ads, they had a bunch of Infinite commercials on there. So they have done ads before. So
sorry, I'm reading the chat.
Ad space. I mean, I guess this brings up a whole nother question. There's just the conversation about ad space and where, as you've worked now for DGA and for Infinite, and share any industry secrets as you may, but
skeletons.
Where have you found that you're getting the most bang for your buck, or Infinite's getting the most bang for your buck? Knowing we have Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter or X. YouTube,
what's your Snapchat?
Friendster.
What do you think? Disc golf guy.
Big
all
Red,
these different places that you can be putting in ads. Where?
OnlyFans.
Yeah, what kind of assessment are you making on those as to, this is the best bang for our buck?
Infinite
do you even make that decision?
No, I don't. That's another, so we have a guy for that. I don't do shit, Terry.
Jeez.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
No, but I make the ads and then I pass them to our paid ads manager. So we have a very talented gentleman named Eric who is doing all of the paid advertising for us on Facebook, YouTube, pre-roll, Google search engine sponsored posts. And I was never really great at that. And so we didn't do a ton of that at DGA. So the answer would be, just by default, the Disc Golf Pro Tour was 80+% of the bang for our buck with the content I made for DGA.
Yeah.
Like that was where we got almost all of the impact from my work there. I don't think it would be as impactful. I think it would be impactful, in the cost of partnering has, I want to say, quadrupled, if I heard the number right. So that's crazy.
Somebody's got to pay for my hair and makeup.
I would still be inclined to think it would be heavily worth it to be advertising in that space, but it wouldn't be as much of a slam dunk as it was, before, I don't think. But it's been interesting to see all of the other strategies being utilized and how effective those can be.
Yeah, you just hanging out on the Disc Golf Pro Tour board, just pummeling them with Infinite ads on the chat room. Just, have you watched this? Have you watched this? Have you watched this? I mean, it's the same bang for your buck. I mean, honestly.
What do you mean by that? What board? What are you talking about?
I suppose they don't. Well, for the MPO, they do a chat board. They do a chat board on one that's on YouTube.
Oh,
chat
dang.
room.
The YouTubes, have you heard of it?
Have you ever heard of YouTube?
I haven't heard of YouTube.
Yeah, it's a new video
Not
platform.
me too.
I want-
YouTube.
Oh, I want to be on the Pro Tour board during a Pro Tour event. That sounds fun.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Do you guys remember Salmon?
Yeah.
You remember Steve Dodge and Salmon?
I
Gosh,
do, yeah. Remember
those were the days.
It's probably about a year or two. It had to be over a year ago. You and I sat here one night after show and just went through all the old ads.
Oh yeah, and you showed me the ad with the nice lady in the state of undress that Steve Dodge made the commercial out of.
For the disc golf cards. Yeah, she was dancing.
I
She
mean,
was
I
dancing.
know I was 34. It was a bit of a like sexual awakening for me,
I mean,
even then. So thank you for that, I
I
guess.
had my shirt off, so
Yeah. Therapy's been expensive but valuable, and I owe
Thanks,
it all to
Molly.
you.
yeah.
Speaking of on-site shooting locations, when do you have any plans for traveling? Will we see you shooting, whether it's for team stuff or just general advertising, or is that everything that just gets done in Kansas City?
So Connor, I'm sure you're aware of Connor's face. He is definitely the social media like face of Infinite Discs. He's the gentleman who's making all the like, we just got this new disc in, let's go throw it and compare it to X disc. He's in Utah. I've been out there once to make a bunch of content with them. We also collaborate a lot with Bodanza. I'm sure you guys have talked to Anthony.
We actually haven't had him on the show.
Oh, you got to have
Been
him on the
featured
show.
on the Disc Golf Guy channel.
I know he
but
has.
has not.
I
been
Oh,
on the show.
Anthony's a pistol. Just make sure he has like a couple Red Bulls right before the show, and then just let him loose.
All
I
right.
like it.
But he makes fantastic content. He lives in Denver, which is right in the middle. So we have talked about potentially maybe getting Connor and me together there, maybe making some videos with him. We've got Oakley in Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Pensacola, yep. People kind of scattered all around. I don't have any plans
Well, and I
to
guess
travel.
yeah, and in my head, I've thought about the last decade or so, where the beginning of the year largely. A place like the Memorial or previously the Las Vegas Challenge, both of those, not so much the case, but both of those were kind of the times we'd see a Bobby Brown and we'd see all of the people from a number of different manufacturers show up and get a lot of early season content, video shoots, photo shoots, things of that nature. I know a lot of that takes place now at the All-Star weekend.
Yep.
From a DGPT perspective, but from a manufacturer perspective, the Memorial was often the commonplace, the Memorial or the LVC, Las Vegas Challenge. And that's what brought me to thinking like, hey, with some of those players or a bunch of those players that are at any given early season event, would that potentially have you then show up to interact? But
Yeah.
not so much. Sounds like they don't be there.
I think you're right. I think it's a lane thing again. I feel like maybe they think I'm not good enough or like wouldn't have enough to add.
Have you showed them your recent rating though? Because if you want to earn someone's
Just a screenshot. Make sure you don't get the full page screenshot.
No.
Because we don't want all the info, just a zoomed in,
Yeah.
just the number.
Just the 3 numbers.
yeah,
Alan,
but
check this
blur
out.
out the PDGA number, Brody style from many years ago.
Yeah. 'cause
So
we don't
we
want,
the
black it
sensitive
out.
stuff.
we want
getting
people
out.
we don't want people to know that.
Yeah. we don't want the
I'd love to do that. I've did that a couple times with DGA down to Phoenix, get a lot of that team content specifically. So I'm sure that could happen at some point. No plans. As of right now, my style really lends itself to just setting up a medium camera shot on my face and just having some kind of a script.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of, we need a 30-second ad. So those are so much like just a couple sentences that need to be compelling and funny. Haven't gotten one of those yet. Still working on it.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
When you do, let us know.
Oh, you'll know.
We'll feature it.
Okay, great.
That's right. Well, I mean, the tour is coming to Kansas City this year. So,
Yes.
So
Yes.
you'll have maybe a chance to go hang out at the Disc Golf Pro Tour event.
Yeah, thank you I need to make a couple calls.
Yeah, probably.
But yes, when it does, absolutely, we're going to have a bunch of team in town. We're going to get a lot of content. I've got Allie Smith here. I've had a very busy off season, like family wise.
Like she's right there now.
Yeah,
like,
the way
yeah,
you looked
Alex,
off camera,
like drinking. She's drinking with Molly.
Stay in there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I hope that lock holds.
now that the holidays have settled down, we're going to get together and make some off-season content. I can't wait. I don't care to show her throwing because she's great. And I think people get that. I really want to figure out a format that you guys could like get to know her a little bit more, because she's just like one of my favorite people all time. And I need to figure out a way to like capture that.
Just keep showing her ace. That's it. Just over and over and over.
See Terry or CJVD, you just went. That's the exact opposite.
No, that's
direction. No bad ideas. Usually, that was a really bad idea.
Just keep stealing her for whatever the next company is that you move to, and just keep.
I followed her.
Oh, okay.
No, she left DGA and then she went to Infinite, and I'm like, well, I have to be with Allie. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. There you go.
She's just dragging you along.
Someone's got to get him a job.
Man, seriously, does SmashBoxx need anything? What do you guys? What you got big plans for 2025?
We're not hiring Allie, but
yeah, that's fair.
She's talented, probably.
Let me pitch you guys. Let me say, listen, picture this. You guys spend $25,000 on the premier level sponsorship with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, so that we can run ads, and it's going to be me on screen, but I'm going to be impersonating Terry, so it'll say like Terry Miller, so it's just kind of like played by a younger, hotter. They do that all the time.
Yeah, different nationality.
Yeah,
in movies. Yeah, and then I'll have a mop next to me that we can have JVD's name written on, and then it'll just be me sitting there and saying, "Hey, you guys should come watch SmashBoxx on Tuesday nights. It's the way disc golf streaming should be."
Sure.
So that's just one idea. I got a lot of other ideas, but you're going to need to like sign an NDA to hear some of the best ones. That's kind of a.
Well, that's
you hate it.
That's not the best one. That was pretty. Good.
I hate it too. I think it was dumb. I actually kind of hate myself even for saying it too.
In all seriousness, what we could use is somebody that wants to use like one of those auto cut up scripter things that we can get a subscription to, and then people make clips out of that for us, and we just pay them to do that. That's what we'd really actually need if we're kind of serious for a second.
Like to
social stuff,
snag highlights for social.
Well, and Staggers. I mean, Johnny and I looked into this last year. There's obviously a Opus Clip and all these other different programs that take our 3-hour show. Somehow they find 10 things that are mildly enlightening that they claim or think would be viral, and it just cuts it down, and it does like 80% of the work for you, and then makes a 1-minute video, 10 1-minute videos. You guys see all the ads for this. Well, that's exactly what we need someone to do. We would pay for the program, but just somebody to take the effort to actually make those. And big shout out, Staggered Stance is doing just that. They've clearly made a concerted effort in the last few weeks to take their long form podcast and then create a bunch of additional social media clips from it, which is not rocket science. We should have been doing this for the last 10 years and we haven't, as much as we've talked about it. So in a serious capacity, if anyone's watching or listening or would be interested in said project or contracted thing, we would entertain that.
Could I do it in 10 hours a week?
Yeah, I think it would take less than that.
It's 8 hours just to listen to the podcast, so
no, it would be way less. Yeah, it would be way less than that.
All right, let's talk.
I think we're talking about only literally a couple hours of work. Yeah.
Cool, I'll do it.
Look at
that. Would you need a contract? Drew made an announcement a few years ago about how many millions?
He just said
multi-millions. We don't have multi-millions.
Yes, you do. You just fired like 100 people. I know you've got multi-millions.
I
No,
could
you're
offer
not getting
you
that
a really-
sunscreen lotion and hair gel for nothing.
I could offer you though a sponsorship banner on a basket in Thailand, and
Ooh.
I would be willing to put you up in a bungalow in Thailand for a week.
Are you there as well?
I'd be there that week, not in the same bungalow.
Oh, okay. That dramatically decreases my interest.
All right, fine. We can room together. We can.
Okay, I'm back in.
When are you? On a serious note, when are you gonna come? Yeah, that's gonna be tough with a bunch of kids, and your wife does everything. Yeah, come to Thailand.
I need more, man. She's just like hanging out with her work friends and doing keg stands and stuff, and here I am running. You know what I mean?
Running the show at home. Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. But also, I have an aversion to flying. So, can I
Really?
get there without flying?
No. Well, I mean, you can.
It'll take a long time.
A lot longer.
I'd be more interested in.
Do you really?
However.
Do you really not like flying?
Well, not to like get super into it, but weeks before I have to fly are rough, and the like day of a flight is real bad
Wow.
for this kid.
Okay.
I have a solution.
Is it this? Because that's helps.
No.
Feels really weird on those 4 a.m. flights, but
No, my only suggestion would be don't book your ticket until like the day before you're going to go somewhere. And then you don't stress out about it for 2 weeks or for 2 months.
like my Alan at Infinite has been communicating with Molly like for weeks, like getting all my stuff packed and getting the trip planned and everything. And then like the morning of, Molly says, "Hey, here's your ticket. You're going right now, 6 days." Yeah.
No, you're dropping me off over at Swope. No, honey. I'm taking you to the airport. Like,
Yeah, we pull up to the airport. I'm like, "Oh no, not again." It's
To
okay.
be
your
fair,
flight
both
leaves
places
in
he
10
feels like he might
minutes.
die. Hey.
Hey.
R.I.P. Swope. Do they have a park? I don't think they have a course anymore, right? They pulled that?
I don't want to dox myself, but there is a course and it's like real close to my house. I kind of live on New Swope, and
Okay.
I don't want to make any Kansas Cityans mad, but I think we all get it. It sucks compared to Swope.
Yeah,
Sure.
I haven't seen. I mean, that was a number of years ago. Because weren't they talking about everything from what cemetery to the petting zoo or something, or everything, or
Yeah.
both of those exist already? Maybe what's the
Yeah, I
deal
don't
there?
even go over there just because it hurts my heart.
Mm.
But the new disc golf course is technically on Swope Park, but it's like 10, 15 years from now, it has to grow in. So we got a bunch of baby trees. Right now you got 18 beautiful Mach X's in a parking lot, basically. Massive tee pads per Kansas City
I love it.
Yeah.
standard.
Blue valleys. Yeah.
Yes, just like actually, literally, yeah.
I love it.
Huge tee pads and beautiful baskets, and just open air to the baskets. But it'll get there. But until it does, we play Waterworks Redesigned. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No.
I haven't seen Waterworks in the last. I think it's been 3 or 4 years since I've been there.
Yeah, it'll be a trip for you to play it again because it's definitely. I'd say about a third of it is completely different.
Okay, is hole 14 the same?
Luckily, it's got a new number now, but yeah, it's the same. Trudge up the hill. Everybody's wheezing. And you sit down, and then you empty your bag.
Yeah.
Nice, love it. Lots of conversation, clearly, and this is a little bit more serious, but not. Lots of conversation about this, the state of disc golf. And as a guy who, you know, we heard your journey about getting involved, making videos, DGA, leaving for a year, coming back. You know, you're in a unique position. A job like yours was unthinkable 10 years ago. Truly, like, just didn't exist, and no one would have ever thought to pay you a salary, like, at all. Not even.
And they shouldn't have.
Yeah, no. But how do you feel about the state of disc golf? And will your answer vary coming from your job at a manufacturer, a specific, you know, basket and disc manufacturer versus, you know, where you're at as primarily a retailer, being Infinite?
I think that everybody understands that disc golf is down. Like it's that's just quantifiable, dot on a bar graph at this point. Disc golf is way down. I think it's cool that Infinite continues to invest in advertising, because I do see a lot of people pull that first. And like the whole you got to spend money to make money idea, that is not the department you should trim. If you're trying to make ends meet, you have to keep the word out there. And in some ways, disc golf has gone down, and Infinite has even like increased their marketing and advertising budget. So I think that's pretty respectable, but it is wild. The real answer to your question is it's pretty wild to see it so down. It's giving 2018 disc golf to me, like, if I'm only using like social media as a metric, I would imagine sales are still far and above what they were in 2018, but nothing like they've been in the last couple of years. But it's interesting to see the interest in it from my seat kind of wane a little bit. And I've been thinking a lot about, like, how can we, that's a question for bigger minds, people in more influential seats than me. Like, how can we get disc golf on ESPN or get crazy names brought in, bigger sponsors, etc. That all those conversations that you guys have every week. But I still think about that a lot too. Like, for my part, what can my part be in keeping disc golf in front of people and keeping it growing?
Why do you think people have lost some interest?
Am I projecting? It just feels like that is, and I wonder if it's been kind of my natural, like how I came in and was so crazy excited and then had it for a job for 4.5 years, and my own personal interest kind of waned a little bit. Through the end of COVID, all these manufacturers are having financial problems because they overspent or didn't ride that tsunami correctly. And now everybody's dealing with the backwash, right? And so it feels like we're now just sitting here, just like after that whole thing, and the people that were semi-interested before are kind of like, yeah, well, we tried that during COVID, and maybe
there's other things to do. Like, as we all know, when things were skyrocketing up, there wasn't a lot of other things to do. Things were shut down. Now things are opened up, and we kept some of them, but a lot of them are like, okay, I can go do something else. And maybe, I've got these 3 discs in my trunk. And every once in a while I'll go play, but I don't need to buy anymore.
Yeah. It feels like it's kind of gone back to, we've got a handful of pros that a lot of people are excited about, and you've got your local leagues and different things like that. But it felt like it was kind of careening towards a national stage, national interest that has the bottoms kind of fell out of that a little bit. One guy's perspective, probably heavily jaded because I don't consume a ton.
I mean, you could kind of say pickleball was on that same.
Is it not now? How are they doing? You talk to those guys?
I have not, but it feels like I hear a lot less about pickleball. Like a year or two ago, you were reading
Praise
about how...
the Lord. I'm so excited to stop hearing about pickleball.
You were hearing about how all these investments, these top athletes were investing in teams, and it was going to get on like all these stations. And to be honest, I still hear about it, but I don't see people investing in it. I don't see them making huge TV deals. I'm not saying that it has died off like disc golf, but I think it definitely plateaued a little bit. So
there might just only be so much space. Yeah, there's only so much real estate to be one of like America's top games. So you can push on that, but you might not be able to break into there unless something crazy happens. What was the last sport or game that has gone from relative obscurity to being a nationally accepted, super popular pastime? Would that be basketball?
in like the early 1900s.
Yeah. I mean, can you think of a more recent sport that has started and then become more popular?
Football was after basketball, but
Football was after basketball?
I think it was. At least it's
Wow,
in
okay.
as a national pastime.
Okay, then football.
But yeah,
That you're saying continues to become more popular?
I think soccer
Just has gotten to be just dominant as one of the main games. Because you got soccer, football, basketball.
In the U.S., at least, soccer has exploded in the last 30 years. But
I got one. UFC.
Yeah, UFC.
Hot take. I mean, because I feel like that's kind of you say UFC and everybody knows what that at least means.
Yeah, yeah. The MMA stuff has been really in the last 20 years has exploded, and it. I wouldn't call it a national pastime, but it is. It's selling out arenas, and it hasn't supplanted I would say our top 5, but it might be right. It might be number 6. So
that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
we need more fighting in disc golf.
Yeah.
Mhm.
God,
Yes,
Nico
please.
was right.
Yeah.
He was on the right track, and that ref blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
If he
official should have
Okay.
punched him,
Just
and they should have
grappled.
just
Uh,
absolutely gone to the ground right there.
Yep.
if we think about how many memes and how viral the video was of it happening, just think of that being 100-fold if a few punches are actually thrown.
We
true.
we would have been
Right?
we'd have been a laughing stock nationally. Probably people have been laughing at us like, look at these two guys fighting over disc golf. And that I think that's more what we would have seen. But internally, yeah, the memes would have been.
Would
great.
somebody take one for the team? And
Terry will.
would you mind assaulting someone at the next Pro Tour event on live coverage, Terry, just so we can make national news and see if that works? We've tried everything else.
There's nothing else we can do.
Yes. I mean, the guy with the shorts at Utah, he that was another effort.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
flag shorts.
The flag shorts.
I played the fort, but they were having a bike race, and they very kindly let me attempt the holy shot once
Mm.
because they were warming up. He's like, if you can find a break in the people practicing over there, you can just do it once.
Mm.
That's all
I didn't-
Conrad needed.
Yeah, I was just
I didn't
gonna
make
say,
it.
I'm thinking Eminem, one shot, one opportunity. Take
I
a
know.
chance.
That's what I was thinking. My heart was pounding. It really did kind
Arms are
of.
steady.
Just,
spaghetti.
I know you're going to laugh, but it created, give it a number. Let's call it 2%. Maybe not even that much, but it created a fraction of the feeling of the pressure
Sure.
of that moment. Give me 1%
No. Trying
Half
to tie
of
up
1%.
World Championships.
Yeah.
and prevent Paul Macbeth from claiming his 6th world title. No,
I mean,
I'm
saying
not sure you
saying
get
it's
around his
200
1%.
times more pressure is a pretty big exponent. You know what I mean?
I
Like it was
still
a
don't think that's
200
enough, though.
times bigger deal at 0.5% of the feeling.
I still think that
You're right.
Who would you assault?
Ooh, that's a better question. Come on. You seen some of
Who
these
wouldn't
a-holes out
I?
there?
And how would you do it? Like would you wait till they're on the first tee and just
Juliana
It's-
Corver, obviously.
oh yeah,
He
just
just-
take
yeah,
just
him
take
and
her
Jake,
out, just
yeah.
like football
Yeah.
3-point stance
I mean, there's
as
They've
she's
got
about to
beef.
drive.
They've got history.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like one of the, if we really wanted to be a truly viral moment, I feel like a firm shove or grab by the arm and see if they're small enough, swing them around, hammer toss them
Look out,
into
Emerson.
into a pond at Maple Hill. You got to go with the
Yeah.
number 1 course in the
Yeah.
country,
That's good.
throwing someone into water, shoving or
Mhm.
pushing them into the water.
hmm
Like 14. Think of hole 14's green, iconic hole, but
Okay.
14's green.
Oh, I'm thinking the tee. I'm thinking
No,
you hit them
8.
off the tee and watch them go down to the water.
Yeah.
Because that's just a punch and then a tumble.
Why not
It's hard
8?
to see, but
Why
it's
not
hard to
8? You got all
see.
the off the tee. You got all the people in the background going, ah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but you've got
holes.
you've got You've got the camera at the green of 14 getting the person tumbling down the hill.
Yeah,
I'm talking.
They may not tumble into the water.
You'll make sure they will.
We could
as you go
assault
down
a
with
few
them.
different people and kind of, we could do some A/B testing on the
Yeah.
viral clip.
Like Anthony Barella? Like, try with him first? He's kind of gangly. I think he would probably get caught up in the trees.
I'm just thinking, how do you, what's, is it just a stiff shoulder that bumps them in the water? Is it an actual shove?
If we really wanted it to go viral, we need to stage a moment. You know how hockey has their official, unofficial fights, right?
Yep.
The gloves come off. So disc golf needs to have a mechanic like that where, you get in the face with the official, you guys do, and then there's some kind of signal given where you each put down your bags and you get a disc out, and then you take turns slapping each other with the disc or something. And
So
you do the official fight.
Yeah, we're mixing in slap fight, the slap.
Another now national pastime that has recently come to popularity.
Well, in some states more than others, but what? Yeah, I like
to assault people.
It's worth a couple tries, isn't it, Terry? It's a pretty good idea.
As they say, there's only one way to find out.
Actually, I got it. I know who it is. You need to take out Owen Scoggins. Just absolutely
the sweetest.
Yeah.
While she's talking to the camera, by the way, during her post-round interview, when she's just being so happy and kind and wonderful.
Funny,
she would probably thank you afterwards.
That was so funny.
That was so funny. You threw me in the water so good. That was great, Terry.
She would find a way to praise me for it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
She's just so dang appreciative.
Robert says an Anchorman style disc golf media street fight.
Ooh,
that could work.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, we'll solve all the world's problems here with that. Disc golf.
Did you get anything good for Christmas, Tyler? Terry was showing off his Ray-Bans that he can.
That's a tough one.
That he can creep on people with. So
that's a tough one. Molly and I said that we weren't going to do presents for each other this year, and she believed me.
Nice.
Wow, Ter. Listen, your butt's not the only thing about you that's thick after this Christmas present. You know what I'm saying? You got some rims.
Yeah.
Nice work.
I can take a picture of you. When you're not looking.
Oh, those are the ones that are.
Yeah, those are the Meta Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
So if I'm hanging out with Terry and he's behind me and I just hear, hey, what's the code word?
Hey, Meta, take a picture.
Hey, Meta, take
Yeah.
a picture. Terry, stop it. What? I don't. It's just Googling something. I didn't get anything for Christmas.
All right.
Why not?
Because Molly and I said we're not going to do presents for each other, and she believed me.
Don't you have? You have 4 kids. Each one of them should be.
The kids are the most disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no,
they should be making you something.
I did get something. Oh, I don't know if it's worth going to show. I can tell you.
It's an audio medium, so yeah.
What? I got the kids got me at Five Below. They got me a Wicked water bottle. So it's kind of green and hot pink, and it's got a pink straw, and it's got the Wicked logo all over it.
Is it hard to drink when it defies gravity?
Hey, oh,
it's the only Wicked song I know. Sorry, I've read the book.
No,
I saw the play. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I couldn't name another song. So
I'll go a third time and see it with you.
Okay, I'd be happy
just
to.
Bought it. Yeah. The extended with the deleted scenes just came out today. Happy freaking New Year to all of us.
Box set, DVD series, director's
cut?
I
wish.
Blu-ray
no,
with
it's
the
like
deleted
digital.
Blu-ray. Did you get a Blu-ray?
It's like digital now. I would have if they had offered it, but no, I just bought it online. You can come over. We can watch it.
Okay. We'll play around at Swope first.
Yeah, let's go early.
Okay. right now, I think it's we're working on the final plans for who will be where regarding the Disc Golf Pro Tour media people, and it's
okay.
undecided if I'll be in Kansas City, but I'm it's on my list of places I'd like to get to this year because it's been a few years. World Championships, the Pro Masters Worlds, I think was the last time I was there. That had to be quite a few years ago now. So if so, I know where I will find you.
I think the last time I played Kansas City might have been the 20th Kansas City Wide Open.
Jeez. Like 20 years ago?
Shut up. Yes.
Decades ago.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Please do. You've got my number. We'll go to Parlor. We'll go. Well, you know what? Can we make a video of like Terry and Tyler's day in Kansas City?
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's go to the Nelson Adkins Museum of Art and just like have you and me just examining some things. Yeah, I don't know. We'll hit just a couple Kansas City highlights that have nothing to do with disc golf, just like a little bro montage.
Yeah, I like that. And I was just thinking as well, and I know I plugged it earlier in the show, Last Blown Open registration coming up soon, but the idea that we're going to see what maybe some fans have been clamoring for a little bit now, which is a large-scale event, Pro Tour event, in Kansas City, and then not in Emporia, but then potentially seeing some kind of maybe back and forth year after year, as if taking turns or alternating. And just at face value, and I know there's a million things that factor into, something like that, but at face value, I really like that idea.
Yeah.
And it seems like I think that's a good way to service the Kansas City,
both communities.
Everyone really.
No, that's good. You can have like a fun year and then like an off year, that like serves a purpose, and then you can have a fun year.
Yeah. You don't think it's fun in Kansas City?
Touche. I have kids. I understand about like having to make, compromises where everybody kind of half wins. But in this case, you get to win every other year, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Infinite disc?
Oh, that's a good question. It's boring, but it's probably the Emperor. Oh, the Emperor is just like the one you throw the most. So I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, the one I throw the most.
Yeah, that's the one you throw the most.
Yeah, that's the one I throw the most.
You do putt with them, though, right? So.
Yeah. Wait. Should I be using them other places? A wicked thumber putt from inside the circle. They're great for those.
Excuse the ignorance, and I genuinely don't know this answer.
Tyler, it's right under my. It's right here.
Are there any Infinite discs that are made that are not produced by Innova Champion discs?
No,
not produced by Innova.
Nope. Innova is our manufacturing partner.
Do you feel like that'll ever change or expand? And I don't mean just like, they won't be Innova because they're so and so, but maybe Innova in addition to.
Well, we saw a social media post from maybe you didn't see it, from TSA, from ThoughtSpace, saying something about Discraft.
That's got to be just an art thing, though, right?
That's what I was thinking. But
kudos if that's what that is. That'd be sick.
I think I did miss this. What are we talking about?
So ThoughtSpace has a social media post that had kind of like incoming message. I think it was kind of digital, and you could see it said ThoughtSpace Athletics. ThoughtSpace Athletic, yeah, I think that's what it is.
ThoughtSpace Athletics,
yeah. And then it had Discraft on there as well. Like they're somehow teaming up with Discraft, and like Tyler had said, I assume that it's some sort of artwork deal. Like maybe they're doing their tour series or something along those lines, or maybe a line. A ThoughtSpace line from Discraft, but
it'd be a big headline if like Discraft has acquired ThoughtSpace.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
It'd be a bigger headline if ThoughtSpace acquired Discraft.
That would be, yeah.
Yes.
Right? That would be all 4 ThoughtSpace employees. Yeah, is taking over. No, I was thinking like, would it be weird for ThoughtSpace to have another manufacturer, like you said, like Discraft? Hey, guess what? We're going to spin up a disc or two with them, like similar to what we were talking about with Infinite. Or I mean, you can't do really the same molds, but you'd have to have a whole new mold probably. Empress. I don't know.
I don't know. It'll be really
clever.
interesting
Thanks.
to see where that goes. But I keep in mind, I've only been there for a handful of months, but all of the language that I've heard behind the scenes is like kind of a, if it's not broke, don't fix it sort of a thing. Like this is, I would be pretty shocked if that did change. And it's fun. We get to do a lot of fun things that it kind of does have DGA Discraft relationship vibes. Obviously, it's totally different, but at the same time, there's like the OG Innova fans have kind of found a cool, fun outlet with Infinite in addition to just people who are just 100% vanilla Infinite fans of that line. You have that kind of history piece with some of the molds coming from people who really are in the know with Innova molds. That makes it kind of fun.
Yeah, because I think, and I just guessing, but I think I've heard things like some of the Infinite molds are combinations of old Innova molds, either like a top to this.
Yeah, I don't know which
that,
ones, but like some of the ones that aren't in production anymore and have been, matched up with new whatevers to create new things. But people that used to be fans of the old whatever and know that now that's the core for this. I don't know. I'm gonna reveal my lack of disc golf molding knowledge here pretty soon. We better change the subject.
Yeah, here's here's one I'll lob up for you. What does Infinite do best? If somebody wasn't familiar with Infinite, which would be crazy if you're watching the show at this moment, because I feel like if you're that much into disc golf, you know about Infinite. But let's just say they didn't, or they're a brand new player / purchaser. Where does Infinite excel, and what do they do best?
Availability. They have so much. It's a business, right? So from one point of view, the more you have, the more you can sell. So that totally makes sense from a dollars and cents point of view. I really enjoyed hearing kind of their vision to like represent like even the little guys, in manufacturing. Like we want to have everybody who manufactures discs. We want to sell them. And then they've also started to wholesale to smaller retailers that can't maybe meet a 25 or 100 disc minimum for this random company that maybe nobody's going to buy because it's new or whatever. Well, Infinite has the operation to be able to buy a few thousand of those discs, and offer them on their site, but also wholesale them to smaller retailers. It is a pretty cool model that results in us having like a lot of opportunity. Like if you're a disc golf manufacturer, if you have somebody even who wants to rebadge other people's discs because you think you have some cool theme or whatever, like Infinite is giving people kind of a space to do that. And have you guys been to Infinite? I'm assuming.
No.
Really? Okay. No. The warehouse is insane. So when I got there, I got a tour. And I'm like, wow, this is a lot of discs. And well, let's go into the next room. This is everything for our online store. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is more discs than I've ever seen in one place at one time. And he's looking at me. This is Todd Durant now. He's looking at me like, oh, okay, well, let's go into the warehouse. Now, this is our wholesale operation. And it's like, I kid you not, it's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I'm like, oh my goodness. And he's still looking at me. He's like, okay.
Sorry, no, not Temple of Doom. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Thank you so much.
I almost cut you. Literally, almost turned off your.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh my god!
I am shocked and embarrassed for what I said. There's no excuse for what I've done.
I wouldn't have said something, there would have been comments on the board and like, John, how did you let that slip?
To the people that I offended. I'm not going to say if I offended anyone. To the people that I offended, I am truly sorry, and I accept 100%
It would be so awesome if the next ping on your phone just says you're fired.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Are you kidding me?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go on. You saw a whole lot of discs.
Go on with your BS analogy.
Whole lot of discs. But then he's like, I think we need to give Tyler like the full tour. So then me and Dylan and Todd got into their car, and we went to, I kid you not, 4 other warehouse spaces. A couple of them were very close to that, and then, a mile away or something like that. But they just kept they just kept kind of like blowing my mind with, it's insane. Like, and bags and baskets and stuff too, but they have so much stuff.
Is that, you just said availability, is that, I think of the competitive space. I'm trying to spit out a question here. I'm thinking of the competitive space that's online retailing. And like so many other retailing opportunities, it feels as if just low price leader, whoever is offering you the cheapest price on everything, it's just a race to the bottom. And I've always hated I know that's consumerism. I know that's supply, demand, blah, blah, blah. I get all of that. But that's something I've always hated in disc golf is just the fight to, well, I'll just sell it cheaper because I think I'm going to sell more.
Yeah.
How does Infinite compare and go against your next closest competitors? And maybe the follow-up to that is, who are your closest competitors? It's got
to be OTB, right? I've never been to those guys' operation, but from everything I've heard, those guys have a ton.
It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark over there.
It's like Temple of Doom is them.
Yeah,
we're Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
And they're like throwing people into
into volcanoes.
Props.
They're pulling the hearts out of people. It's weird.
That was in a back room, but I did see that. Yeah, over there in Stockton.
After that OTB Open, that party gets pretty wild. So
it's a pretty cool operation. That one I have been to. They're cooler than Infinite until you invite me there and I hang out at it.
You can't go to Infinite. They're not going to let you. These are wholesome, nice people, Terry.
You will. Yeah, these are people.
I could assault someone.
I was barely I had to show my history with volunteering at prisons and in the community, different. I had to
volunteering
show them the receipts. I volunteered for 6 years.
I have this picture of my wife doing a keg stand. Does that count for anything?
You're like, I have that same picture of Tyler's wife. Could I?
Yes.
All right. No, I want to answer this question because this is important.
Yes.
I feel like we have map pricing, which really protects, really kind of in a large part solves that problem, which, obviously that's you're at liberty to observe that or not observe that, but you're not going to have a relationship with that manufacturer for long if you don't. So from what I've seen, everybody does a pretty good job of honoring the manufacturer's suggested pricing on their discs. So that's where Infinite falls in line with just, we price it what we're supposed to. So they do sales and stuff, but for the most part, it's retail pricing. So there's not a ton of that happens. It's kind of you know what to expect, I guess, in that sense. The race to the bottom model, which has been very interesting and fun for me to be a part of, is this discount disc golf store, which you probably haven't even heard of that yet at this point.
Smashy exclusive.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Look, I wasn't wearing this shirt an hour ago.
Branding on point as always.
But I put it on.
That shirt off camera has been creating a lot of questions.
But this is the outlet store. So this is like the brands that you've barely heard of. Let me put it to you this way. I used to sell Suzuki automobiles. I worked for a dealership that sold Suzuki cars. And at the time, most people didn't know Suzuki made cars. They thought they only made motorcycles. And these cars are so popular in Japan, but nobody's heard about them here. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things that if you don't care about how the car is badged and you want something that's way higher quality and will last way longer than Honda or Toyota, this is the car that you need to buy. And that's true. That's not just blowing smoke. And that's Discount Disc Golf. If you don't care about what brand is listed on your disc, but you want to pay half of what people are paying who want to have it as a status symbol, like, yeah, I got the next whatever, and you just want a premium driver or mid-range or putter that is every bit as good as anybody else's, but maybe has a company on it that you're like, who is this? Interesting. That's what this is.
Okay. Johnny's pulled it up. I'm looking at it, and
I'm looking at the brands: ABC, AGL, Alpha, Birdie, Black Zombie, Clash, Crosslap.
They have a YouTube channel. We have 50 subscribers so far.
Ooh.
And I've got 2 of my funniest videos I've ever made on that YouTube channel.
Crosslap.
Is it also Discount Humor then? Because I feel like it shouldn't be full price for full quality.
That's actually kind of a funny idea for a video. I might like, this is Discount Disc Golf, so it wasn't in the budget for good jokes. So, and then just like,
yeah.
If you want a good joke, don't come here.
Go to Infinite. Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for letting me advertise for that. I am very excited about it. So it's a little bit of both. I do enjoy talking about it, but also it's, I want people to know.
To your point, and I fully embrace the idea that a large percentage of disc golfers, if you wipe the stamp off of a disc, but just handed them the appropriate disc, regardless of stamp or molding that's written on it, and they had no idea, could go out and will probably shoot the exact same score with a $24 Tour Series disc as they would with a $12 non-branded disc. They're going to shoot the same score because it's clearly not about the actual manufacturer. It's just so much about the branding that is what's selling these in the first place. So I totally agree with you. And that is part, you're making the case, honestly, a long-winded case for why I just don't give a shit about in the bags, because it's interesting, I guess, to see what some people throw, but Calvin Heimberg ripping on a Halo Destroyer has no bearing on 99% of the rest of disc golfers to ever throw a disc. It just doesn't matter in terms of, well, Calvin threw this and here's what it said. Cool, you don't throw anything like Calvin.
Right.
Or when Calvin does show you his Halo Destroyer that he's had in his bag for 6 years.
Yeah.
Does that hit 100 trees? Does that hit 500 trees? Does that hit 0 trees? And was it a completely different mold and run that's no longer available? And of course, I'm not just picking on Calvin. It's just, that's why I do not understand personally, and call me an old curmudgeon, but I just don't understand the infatuation of watching people's in the bags, thinking there's something that you're necessarily going to be able to mimic or maybe even aspire to. It just, because the discs are so unique. Like, if you watched it in the bag and someone said, here's my 3 bowling balls, my main, my pickup ball, whatever, and those are all pretty standard, and then you could go to the bowling alley and you could get essentially the same ball, and some avid bowlers are going to yell at me probably, but anyway, you could go essentially get that same ball, because there's a consistency from ball to ball to ball. I see that.
They're all round.
Yeah, but maybe that's a bad analogy. I don't know. I don't get it. I do not understand the in the bags and the infatuation with knowing what people are throwing.
I completely agree. I think that like Joseph,
why?
Well, there's so many vocal fans of those discs, and those are the only people that like watching discs in the bags are the people who are fans of those particular discs. But I agree that nobody else cares. I think the videos that really would sell a disc are the videos like what Joseph Phillips at Another Round is making. Normal people he's selling all of them, so he's biased to some degree, but he's not but he's able to give an unbiased review saying, hey, this Berg is actually really great for, whatever reason. It's been fun to see for me as kind of a normal person who makes videos that sell discs. I'm like, oh yeah, it is. I do feel like there's kind of a push to this sort of everyman review and credibility with disc sales. I'm trying to think of who other examples are. There's so many.
Bobby Brown used to do it.
Bobby Brown.
Yeah. He used to go out.
Him and EMAC. And then
he was Bobby versus EMAC. And hey, here's how it flies for me. And it's
pro
I'm not
AM.
trying to discredit everyone of saying like, oh, you should never try and be a top level pro. I'm not saying that. I think when it comes to individual, especially beat older discs, maybe that's where I'm really drawing the line is if you're reviewing a brand new disc, and Calvin goes out and throws a disc, and here's how it reacts, and you can say, well, that's brand new, and that's for Calvin's arm speed, so here's what I can expect. But when Calvin pulls out a 5-year-old KC Pro Rock that's just got 39 nicks and dings, and he's taken a sandpaper to it 7 times and whatever, because it's a weathered favorite of his, that disc is just it's just like no other disc that's brand new off the shelf. That's why I just don't feel like it's nearly as relevant.
It depends on how the in the bag is done and what explanation.
I think you have to take it out of the category of sales at that point. It's really more to just show the player's personality, like make some kind of connection.
Sure, that I can
some
see.
value in other things, but yeah, if it were me, as like from marketing and sales, I would rather have them have a stock version of every single. Yeah. And not only a stock version that we have in stock at the moment. These are the discs I want you to talk about. A little less genuine, though.
I don't know. That's not to say I won't make another in the bag when some player wants one, or if there's, I'll be happy to film it and facilitate it. But I do not understand the excitement and the people.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, JVD.
No, I was gonna say it all comes down to how descriptive do the players want to get about what's in their bag. If Calvin just shows, hey, this is my rock, I use it for mid-range shots, then that's not very descriptive. He says, oh, this is my rock, it's really beat, it flips over, for me when I put a bunch of arm speed behind it. I use it for turnovers primarily. It's way less stable than it used to be. Then you're getting a little more like, oh, okay, well, this is how it beats in. There's a way to make that more useful for you, so to speak. But yeah, it's just advertising. Hey, this is my rock. I throw rocks.
And on the heels of that, Terry, when was the last time that you really cared? And this really isn't even just a joke. Really cared to know what a particular player was throwing.
I hate to say it, but I only
almost
care.
Never.
Yeah, I don't, and I only care because I know everyone else wants to know.
Yeah.
So I'm disingenuous if I'm asking like, oh my God, what was that disc? What'd you just throw?
But so many people.
But I know people want to know that,
right?
So I take it.
They
upon
just
myself
I really want to know what Cole Redolin is. What's he got in his overstable fairway driver slot? I'm not that way either. I could not care less. Because for one thing, back to your original point, it doesn't really matter for me to know that unless I just love that player, because I'm not going to then recreate that disc in that slot for my bag. Where I do find value in that, hear me out, FPO in the bags.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, I would love to know what Allie Smith is throwing for her mid-range. For someone like me, because my arm speed is probably similar to hers, and not similar to Gannon and Isaac and those guys. Like, if Allie told me, oh man, this Emperor this Pharaoh flies so great for me. I use it for shots that are about 300 feet, and I'm like, that to me would be interesting. Like, oh yeah, well maybe I should think about doing something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you.
No, she is better than you.
I know she is.
For the record, for anybody listening or watching,
100%.
I just felt like that needed to be said.
I just said my arm speed was similar. She's way better.
You're better than her at disc golf. I just mean in general, she's just better.
She's probably rated higher than I am. So she's
you.
probably better than me in multiple ways.
Speaking of ratings, where are you guys at? Where are you sitting? You guys,
I think I'm at like 931, 932 or something. I hover right around the 930s these days. I'm hoping to get that up this year, but I said that last year as well because I want to play more, but I didn't play
You don't need to tell
year.
us about your honeymoons.
So.
You can just talk about your disc golf rating. Keep it PG.
Yeah.
I know it's the after show.
Goof.
I won an event in Guatemala.
Hey!
Congratulations.
Heavily contested.
Yeah.
Here, I will say, one of my takeaways
was the trophy.
Hey!
And the trophy did kick ass, by the way.
I believe it.
I really loved it. It's a little leather cutout that is in the shape of Guatemala, and a local person made it, and it's leather, and yeah, it's really cool. It's almost like an oversized keychain. So then, what was great is because tons of people there were traveling, and then it packs well, and it's not breakable, and yeah, it was really nice. I loved it. They commissioned some local disc golfers to make them. Anyway, a little piece of me felt good knowing out of the 70 or 80 people that were in the tournament, I did leave with the best score.
Okay, yeah. See, that's a big.
I think I was also the highest rated, which doesn't mean necessarily anything, but I did leave with the best score after 2 rounds, and that felt good. So
I don't want to out you on national television.
I did the same at the MP. When did I play in Chicago? In July. I did the same
that
there.
makes sense.
I left out of all players. There was like 80 or 90 players. It feels good.
Yeah, no, in my little event, I was third. Like even if I had played MPO, I would have been third. And so but I understand again a small percentage, obviously, of how you felt. But my point is, I'm just looking at your PDGA pages. Question mark? What the hell's going on with your? I have questions, and I don't know if I should ask them like live. Maybe we should do this.
Pages.
Yeah, I see Terry Miller. I got Terry the disc golf guy Miller, number 10,738, but then I've also got Terry Miller, number 24092. Neither one of them has a rating because it says they're both expired.
You are. I was just about to mention that, Terry. You're 10738. I couldn't
This
find
guy's
a rating,
here
and I was
promoting
like,
the sport of disc golf.
After I just plugged everybody,
you literally told everyone like an hour ago.
Do it now
for any tournaments anytime soon.
Screen share it. Screen share him renewing right now, or else we're not going to believe
That's
it.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So does it not? It doesn't show my rating on there right now.
No, because you are expired.
Are you 10738 or are you 24092? You're 10. Okay.
10738.
Well,
the one that says the disc golf guy. That's the one that's me.
Well, I don't know. There might be a lot of Terry Millers out there.
Yeah.
340 events. That's crazy. $22,000 in career earnings. What'd you do with all that, Terry? Did you invest in crypto?
I'm wrong. My current rating is 919. It dropped.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, what I did with all that money, 22.
Yep.
It's trust me, it does not. I think about it how 22,000 in all those years, which was a different era, and my skill sets that aren't even remotely comparable. But to think that Gannon or Missy or
2 weeks,
I was gonna say, and some of our big events, Ricky, whatever, have won that in literally one weekend.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. So, not that I had not that I ever won any really big things.
The Montemaria Open.
Yes.
First place.
Yeah, best.
Wow.
So it doesn't show ratings for those individual rounds?
Oh, let me see. Let me click.
It does,
into
and it shows the rating that you were at that event, which was 938.
There it is, 938.
Yeah.
10 under par.
Best in the country.
At that moment.
Anyway.
I don't know anything about geology, but I'm assuming the country is pretty small.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah. Got it.
Guatemala. Have you been to Guatemala?
Not this year
What countries have you been
or
to?
before that ever. I've been to the United States several times, and then I went to Canada on a choir trip.
Hmm.
I went to the Bahamas twice, which
One star, wouldn't recommend.
I just got to Google something right now.
Is the Bahamas part of the U.S.?
I was thinking, is that a U.S. territory?
I think it is.
Territory. No, the Bahamas are not, and have never been a U.S. territory.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been out of the country twice.
Okay.
Canada and the Bahamas.
What's your next
It's
one?
one more than me.
Will you go to Worlds in Finland?
No, I'd have to fly.
Yes.
Canada and Mexico are
If
kind of
Scott
my
Stokely
only
can get over
options.
it, so if Scott Stokely can get over it, so can you. You had to fly to the Bahamas, so.
Nope.
Oh, really?
I sure did not.
Oh, you
I
took a
sure
boat?
did
Hmm.
not. I took a large boat,
A Suzuki Ski-Doo?
a Suzuki jet ski.
I guess
Me and about 10,000 other people.
I was gonna say technically when we went on our cruise, we stopped in the Bahamas, but I didn't get off the boat. So
Doesn't count.
Mhm.
nope.
Yeah, it
doesn't
was a
count.
cruise.
That what was that?
I'd like to go to Ireland, Italy, France, any of those. It would be worth the fear to get over
Yeah.
there. They're giving away houses in Italy. What do you guys? Would you guys go in with me on a homestead sort of fixer upper in the Italian countryside?
I have some logistics issues. Like, if it's a fixer upper, how do you
Yeah.
fix it up over there? Do you have to?
Well, I would. I'm pretty handy. I mean, I don't
No,
not yet, but there's a lot of YouTube videos.
Oh no, I'm very handy. That's not a big deal. I added
Okay,
an
then
outlet.
you would.
I added it. I literally added an outlet into my house yesterday and today. And today I
Like
patched up the drywall.
like a water feature.
No, like an electric outlet. I didn't even electrocute myself. I had
Okay.
to interrupt a series and bring it over to the other side, and then I'm about to build some cabinets for my house as well. I'm a handy person.
Yeah, and when he puts stuff together, he gets extra screws.
Yeah, I put together Terry's laptop. There was one spare screw. I'm making him money.
He's making. Yeah.
There's a lot of spare parts in these things nowadays.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I
don't need it all.
Exactly. I'm sitting here with the tweezers.
That's
from the
great.
kit.
Bonus.
Yeah.
They're not making a dime off you guys. You're
No.
getting the
No.
big stand spare parts. Yeah, anyway, Italy's like doing bad. And
Yeah,
so
okay.
they're offering free houses. This is what I heard. Grandma shared it on Facebook, so it's probably legit.
Super
And
true.
they're all fixer uppers. They're not nice houses, and they expect you to kind of, contribute to
Society.
the community, society. Yeah. So I don't know if you like make pasta or how that works, but something. I wouldn't. I'd be remote, still helping U.S. companies, but
Yeah.
we could live together. Is what my
there's
point.
not much disc golf over in Italy.
Yet.
You could pioneer.
Big market.
Maybe the Paul McBeth
Big
Foundation will
market.
send you there.
I don't want to go, but I would. I'm sorry. I know it's an exhausting conversation. You're like, I feel like you're the one who brought up the opportunity to go.
Yeah, and then you.
All right, let's do it. Let's go.
There you go. Perfect.
Are you still playing a lot of Rocket League?
Yeah.
I
I
thought
made
about you the other day.
mistake.
Yeah, I thought about you the other day when I was watching the Oakley's marathon, and Eric was trying to get more people to play Rocket League. And
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known.
Yeah.
Dang it.
he asked me, he's like, "Hey, you want to play?" And I'm like, "I've never played this game," and so the answer is no.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah, I
sit
don't
and
want to
watch.
destroy your gaming rep because everybody remembers Disc Golf Valley, JVD, and you really could tarnish that if you
Yeah.
weren't excellent at something.
I'm just saying, you know.
I made the mistake of looking up because these freaking for like your mental health or whatever, they keep track of how many hours you spend on these games, and
Oh,
got to talking about it with some people and looked that up a couple days ago.
too many? Not enough?
What in 5 years? What would you think would be too many
jeez.
hours?
Oh gosh.
10?
Well, for you.
Like an unhealthy amount. Let's assume that most of these hours are like now. Like my family's asleep,
Sure.
so I'm not like taking away family time,
So-
right? I'm not a monster.
Jeez.
All right. How much is an unhealthy amount to play a video game in a week? Let's just say I'll say unhealthy amount is 6 hours a week.
Oh,
Damn
6
it.
hours a week. Wow.
Yeah, a week. That's like an hour a day every day. No, maybe 8 hours. We'll say 8 hours. If you're playing 8 hours in a week, that's probably a lot. I don't say it's unhealthy, but it's a lot.
I mean, are you in your 30s and 40s like our crew here?
So 8 hours, and so then you have obviously 52 weeks a year. So let's just round that to about 400 hours a year, and you go 5 years. So 2,000. So I would say if you're in, too much probably is like 2,000 hours over the last 5 years.
Yeah, that would be too
geez.
much.
How much? Sorry, Tyler. Goodbye. Tyler has left the building.
Wow.
He's played more than 2,000 hours.
Yeah, I'm narrowing in on 25.
2,500. Okay.
25. So your math was actually pretty solid.
Well, I was just thinking like an hour. If you really enjoy a game, and I'm not judging because I video game myself, but the video games I tend to play have a start and an end, like a Zelda or a Metroid or a Mario. Like when I beat them, I'm done. And I might go through 2 to 3 weeks where I play 20 hours. You know, I'll sit down on the couch while
Wow.
we watch.
That's unhealthy.
Yeah, well, we watch like a TV show with the wife, and I'll sit and play my video game and whatever's on in the background. Cool.
Mhm.
And then once I beat the game, I put it down. I won't touch another game for 6 months.
Mhm.
But with a game like Rocket League, there is no beginning and end. It's like, hey, it's a
Right.
constant challenge, so you can play repeatedly. So that's why I was thinking, like, you know, if you were playing an hour or two a day,
Mhm.
that's, I mean, then on a weekend you could binge 3 to 4 hours. Yeah, 25. I mean, it's not absurd, but it's a lot.
But it is absurd.
I mean,
It's
a lot.
better than doing crack cocaine.
Well, if you did 25 hours of crack cocaine, maybe.
I'd be really good at it, probably. I don't know
Yeah.
what that looks like, but
Yeah, but just think about how much less you'd play if you did
crack cocaine.
crack cocaine
yeah.
and then played the game. Maybe you'd get through the games quicker.
Maybe I'd be like better at, like I could have in 200 hours I could have accomplished the same skill as 2,500 if I was
Exactly.
doing lines of coke. At this point my wife might prefer any other vice to that. I keep telling her there are worse habits out there,
Yeah.
but she
Yeah,
like
that's-
she has a crippling alcoholic addiction that we've already talked about. You know what? I'm going to be here playing a video game at home while you're out doing keg stands with your friends.
Mhm.
Which one of us is a bigger degenerate?
Yeah.
She's social, though. So.
So me?
Yeah, so you.
Yeah, still you. Dang it.
Buzz Swan says, well, a third of that time is probably just sitting in the lobby anyway. So.
No, I wish. The people who, like, if you actually get good enough, you can't find matches because there aren't other people who are that good who are playing. I can find matches still. Where I'm good, Swan.
So you're playing a lot and not getting good, which I guess, I mean, if you get
Listen.
too good, then maybe it loses some of its fun.
I'm dirty good. I'm 971, like a true 971 in Rocket League. That may be fake disc golf, but that's
real.
So, you know,
Rocket
I'm not like a pro, but like, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You beat up on the schmucks who show up, but.
Speaking of, are we going to play around when you come to Kansas City? I didn't like the whole bro in the city idea. I think we should play around together and do like a challenge. Drinking game.
Yeah, maybe.
I took that as a yes.
Yeah, if we find the right course, that's fun to play. And what I mean by that is, I think of the Pro Tour happening at Bad Rock Creek, and I vaguely remember it because I did some filming out there many years ago. Like a course like that is not nearly as appealing for our skill sets because we're just clearly not top level pros.
Correct.
Maybe if you were throwing infinite discs, you would be.
Ooh.
I'll take you to Sarco Park in Kansas City. The holes are like they like top out at 100 feet.
Oh, okay. It's a bit long, but I can see
maybe one round. It's only 9 holes though. So
I mean, after I watch you're in the bag and I know what to throw, then I would be willing to take.
Listen, if you go there with Tyler, he might play another round within the next 2 years.
Oh,
that's a shorty.
We could sanction.
Can we
it.
set up a PDGA sanctioned event at?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's right.
The most dangerous C tier in existence because it's on like half an acre and you'd have 50 people there all like trying to throw at each other. All the fairways cross.
Yeah, no, that does sound like fun. I say we go there and play. And again, if I'm involved with some of the media for possibly either the KC Wide Open or the Dynamic Glass Blown Open. Now I got to go back.
Wait, they changed it back?
Yeah, I think they are.
Well, the Glass Blown Open is for AMs.
There's no pros?
I don't know if there's pros or not.
I think there is.
But because they're inviting AMs, I think they're calling it the Glass Blown.
Yeah, so
whatever.
But at any rate.
Wow.
So if I am in town, my new trick, don't tell anyone, is to fly into Wichita if I fly, though.
Interesting.
It's so much easier.
That's where my family is. Do you want to like hang out with them? How do you do with like talks about politics and religion?
Oh, I am as snarky as they get these days. So
I need to set up a family party that I can get Terry to. I'll film that. We'll skip the whole disc golf idea.
It's
and the best part is I'm happy to play either side of the aisle.
Either side.
Yeah. Whatever the antagonistic side is, I'll do whatever you need.
You'll get the vibe real fast.
I've educated enough to fight for either side. Whatever you need.
Yep. Just come up with an argument and Terry will make it.
Perfect. Yes, though, if I get myself down there, it does sound like a lot of fun for us to play a little golf. Back in my day when I played in the Amateur Worlds in 1999,
I was there.
Johnny V was there. Valerie Jenkins was there. She became mixed doubles world champ with one Dave Wastebloom.
Dave, that sounds like an alias. There's no way that's a real person.
Yeah,
and if it is, he's hiding something.
Well,
Dave
that's probably true.
He used to work at Whammo, so that should tell you all you
exactly. So then they asked him. Somebody asked him his name, and in a moment of panic, he said, "Dave
Wastebloom.
Bloom. Wastebloom. Yep. That's it."
Yes.
I just want to say, because I know that we all like to make fun of each other a lot. It's kind of our favorite thing. It's easier for me because you guys suck. And you guys have to work. You have to like turn around backwards to try and think of something mean to say about me.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had a little moment where I was just looking at you two and I'm like, I can't believe still. I've talked to you so many times. I just can't believe still that we're living in a world where I am just talking to Terry Miller and Jonathan Van Derzen on SmashBoxx. Because for how many years? I've played for 15 years now. For 10 of those years, off and on, I watched your content. Like, hi, I'm Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and this is my video blog, And SmashBoxx, when you would have like old Simon on, and I got Simon to say happy birthday, Tyler, once in the chat. That just like freaked me out. And now just like flash forward 6 or 7 years and we're just chatting. And I do have that little moment almost every single time that I talk to you guys. There's a little bit still in there, and I'll let you know when it's gone, but there's still a little bit in there of like, you guys are so cool. And this is like still such a fan moment and like a little bit of celebrity, fangirling. Like, vibe. And just like comes in little waves now and then, but I just had a wave of it, so I thought I'd share that with you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. The
We are awesome.
the bar is set pretty low for you to join us, and that provides these opportunities.
That's the best metric that we have for showing what the state of disc golf is currently, is who's on SmashBoxx tonight.
Like, how are things going? You said disc golf's on the decline, huh?
And it's just the absolute trough. They tune in and see this night here. Only up from here, though. That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we were announcing all the disc golf departures, and we were kind of hoping to get one from you, but...
Oh, wait. Who's still here, and why?
I don't know why they're...
Why are you all still here? I do want to make... My announcement is I'm going to give disc golf comedy a shot again. I just wanted you guys to...
Okay.
Yeah, I am. Because I'm part-time now.
Or what?
First time ever, let's just say, so that way, in case they're tainted from before. No, but that was so fun, and I had to stop doing it because of time. Full-time job, now 2 full-time jobs later. I'm part-timing again. And I was like, it sounds really fun to do funny, off-the-wall commentary stuff again. So changed all the channel and made a logo. I'm going to release 12 videos, 12 weeks. Okay. Starting next week. 1 video a week. If people like it and they comment and they subscribe, I will keep making them. But if not, I feel like 12 episodes, I feel like that's a good effort. Does that seem like a good test?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. I felt like it was.
Yeah, sure.
Like to see if it's something I should keep going. That's the test,
Yeah.
I guess. But at any rate, it'll still be fun to make them. But just like, hey, see if people still want to watch these.
Will these be brand new videos, or are you talking about like doing commentary on post-produced other videos, or either or?
They will be immediately. There will be new videos on post-produced videos. So like what I used to do when it all started, when disc golf comedy started, I would take other disc golf coverage and just add my own commentary to it.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever video is the most recent, phenom. So probably Gannon Burr, some video of whoever's popular right now. And we just do my commentary over it, and that'll be what it is. I don't know, but maybe some sketches in there. What would you prefer? The world's your oyster.
Yeah,
I know you don't want to watch either, but
yeah, I was just
if you
gonna
had
say,
to pick,
I'd prefer that I won't watch either.
that's pretty easy. That's done.
Yeah. I mean, besides In the Bags, those are clearly, I'm all in on those.
Wait.
Yeah.
Should that be? I only do commentary on In the Bags.
Or at least I think you should do
one, like the whole thing.
I mean, I don't think that's a good idea, but I do think it would be fun to do one, or the. I mean, you're stealing shticks now. You could do the bad mouth reading over somebody's In the Bag.
Hey, that's okay. That's my shtick. I invented that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. But yeah, you can.
Those are so hard, by the way.
Yeah, they're very difficult.
I always wanted to, and I thought very long and hard about all the different scenarios in making that happen, and it scared me. The task seemed too tall.
I've made 5 or 6 of them, and every single time I say I'll never do another one of those again, because your brain is absolutely deflated after doing it.
But yeah, no, but I think you could do a commentary over someone's In the Bag. That would be funny.
I mean, you could always. There's so many practice round / course preview videos now that are constantly being made. You certainly could take your own spin on any one of those.
Yep.
I think that would be an easy thing to do.
Well, anyway, if people enjoyed it, I'm going to throw it out there again and see what happens. And if 20 people watch it and a few people makes them laugh, then it will be worth a 12 episode effort. And then I'll never do it again, ever. The Australian hat is going to be burned on week 13, and I will delete the YouTube channel.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
So this is truly the last. This is actually pretty dire.
Yes. Speaking of Australians, I believe we had an actual Australian on the chat a little earlier. Luke, you still out there?
Actual Australian.
Yeah.
That's rude. That's rude to Tyler.
Yeah, seriously, what the actual? So I can't. You have to be born Jewish. You can't be like Jewish by choice. Is that another thing that you believe
in converting?
I'm a messianic Australian, is what I am.
Okay.
In this time of Hanukkah.
Thanks, Terry.
That's insensitive. I apologize.
Jeez, you insensitive asshole.
This is like day 7 of Hanukkah or something, I think.
I have so enjoyed getting to know real Australians because of disc golf comedy back in the day. The people would message me privately and say, "Hey, this you're so bad at this. Let me give you some. Here's some things you can try." But they just loved it. They were all so nice.
Speaking of other possible failed things you've done, you were doing some sort of good deeds, pay it forward kind of thing. Is that
kindness mob?
Kindness mob. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I
couldn't remember
that was almost my 12-week experiment. So I want to, ideally, this is my life dream. Thanks for bringing it up. I would love to just make my own content, right? And not, at some point, not be employed by somebody else. Obviously, that's a privilege afforded to a very few, people. But I've got this extra time now, so that's an opportunity, and I feel like I need to take advantage of that. So I'm like, this new year, my resolution is I want to really put some time and effort into something. And I was trying to decide between the kindness mob and disc golf comedy. And I wonder if now
you just quit disc golf comedy.
I've chosen incorrectly.
The important part is what we're learning tonight is that you're really dedicated and not flippant about any of the decisions or the paths that you're about to take.
No, these are thought out for hours.
Yeah, these are chiseled in stone.
I did think that would be so rewarding to have that be the thing that I did. The kindness mob, if you're not aware, was something I did on TikTok, and it was people would nominate channels that didn't have a ton of views, and then we would all go anonymously and just overload that channel with kind comments. So it wasn't for clout. People weren't tagging the kindness mob in their nice comments. These people were just waking up and just getting sometimes thousands of nice comments, and it was one of the most satisfying projects that I've ever been a part of. But disc golf comedy, I was the focus. So really, that's, I think, at the end of the day.
That's where we all really win.
What's going to bring the most good for the most people? Okay, screw that. What's going to make me the happiest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why
it's
make
the holiday
strangers
spirit
happy when you can make yourself happy?
Yeah.
I like that. You can get on board with that one.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe disc golf comedy flops, and maybe that'll be a second phase. Maybe I'll try and bring that back.
Speaking of which, I mean, it. Do you think we're going to see TikTok go away in the U.S.?
Well, it's I was just talking with a buddy about this. I feel like to me, it doesn't matter. And I'm so sorry for the men and women who work at TikTok that this will affect. To me, it truly does. That they are listening. For them. But they are listening. They have our data. To me, it truly doesn't matter because at this point, whether TikTok stays or whether it gets closed down, we will have another TikTok semi-immediately. At this point, we're never not going to have an infinite scroll short dopamine video hit app And there's already a couple that I've seen advertised. So to me, it's like I'll be on TikTok or I'll be on whatever's the next TikTok, right?
Gotcha.
I'm not on TikTok. I tried to go on 2 or 3 days ago for the first time in like 6 or 8 months, and it prompted me for a username and password, and I'm like, no, I'm good. Because I used to be able to go on without logging in, and then I could search for something, but I didn't.
You almost said lurk.
Yeah, I lurked.
You started to say lurk, and then you said you thought maybe that was too honest.
Yeah, lurk. I'm a lurker in a lot of things. Yeah.
You lurking on my channel?
Once in a while.
You found my foot channel?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Okay. Yeah. I lurk on your Discord once in a while, but
I don't.
I know.
Thanks for going over there. Tag me next time you're there. I'd love to see those guys again.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. So I tried to log into TikTok, and it was like, it asked me for username and password. I couldn't just go past that and look for something, and so I was like, I'm not gonna bother. So I'm not on the TikToks.
They ain't getting your info.
They have my info, I'm sure.
Can I send you they're doing a thing now because they're like it's like they're dying breaths. I get $70 if I refer somebody to log into TikTok. So I'll send you a link. I'll text it to you. You can download it.
Sure.
Just click whatever link I send you and log in.
I will do that. Just don't look at the link. Just click it. So I tell
Don't
all
worry
my
about
users.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the 700 characters that are after it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just click
quick
and don't.
little link. It'll get you right to where we need to be.
It's like TikTok misspelled, as a subdomain of something with a lot of numbers in it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's
Yeah.
legit.
Don't sweat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. All right, buddy.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
I think we've driven away all our viewers now. I think we can end this.
I'm perpetually amazed by how many and how late.
Yeah.
Every time I'm on, we ask around this time, why are you all still here?
We love all of our viewers. That's why they're here.
What about the guy you were telling me about last time, like
Ray?
in the
No,
green
he's
room
all right,
before? Yeah, what about Ray?
I'll laugh because Ray will get a kick out of that.
What about Raymond? This is really more like, well, I don't know when we're going to see you, but hopefully
soon, and hopefully
Not on the TikToks.
with a drink in our hand and discs in the air.
I don't disc and drink well.
Same.
Can't do it. Haven't done it in like 20 years, but when I did, I didn't like it. Timing throws my timing off, and it's already like sprinkler. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, I looked at the chat and then came back to that sentence. What are we talking about?
drinking and disking.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, wild. Well, have a happy new year, guys. I can think of literally no more delightful way to spend January 1st, 2025 evening than with the two of you.
Well,
It's a good way to ring in 2025.
What's it?
Good way to ring in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little catch-up sesh.
Mm-hmm. Let's January 1st, 2026. What do you say? Pencil me in.
He'll just be starting up disc golf comedy. And
No, that's the kindness. Listen, guys, it didn't work, so we're gonna try the altruistic version. But seriously, pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Always.
All right,
Catch
buddy.
up.
Appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on with us, giving us some insight and all of that disc golf comedy.
And
Hi, chat.
internet stuff.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Click.
Nice.
Good to talk to one Tyler Brickley.
Sure it is.
Yeah. Enough of that. Oh, gosh.
All right.
Got it. If he moved to like a time zone that was more Eastern, I think he'd get more tired earlier, and then maybe he wouldn't stick around.
That's true. Should we request access?
All right, so Johnny's going to pull up. We're going to very quickly get to the giveaway, host a little giveaway, and then we're going to call it a night. I'm ready to do as much.
Let's just do 2 giveaways next week.
Okay, that's good with that. We got a computer to reassemble.
Yeah, I have to tear apart a computer and reassemble it and hope it works.
And if it doesn't, and there's no more videos that you guys get to watch on my YouTube
It's my
channel,
fault.
Johnny V's fault.
Yeah, other than the other 2 laptops I think you have.
It's the only video editing component there is. In all seriousness, thanks for some of you guys that watched or continue to watch the little bonus footage that we put together from the Big Arm Challenge. That was a lot of fun as the FPO division wrapped up. Coming soon, Cold Turkey and other surprise video. But Cold Turkey is next in the queue. Got to get the queue all cleaned out. 2025 is here for some new footage. For Johnny V, I'm the Disc Golf Guy. Thank you to Tyler Brickley for joining us in the after show. This has been podcast 538 after show. We'll see you next week when you step inside the SmashBoxx.